My hands are sweating. All right. Hi, operator. I'm Gabriel Mercier, codename N2. Since we'll be fighting side by side, allow me to properly introduce myself. As the codename suggests, my combat style leans towards cryogenic suppression. My frost launcher paired with a cryo flask can quickly force enemies into a frost state, ensuring they pose no threat to us. If enemy positions are unknown, the homing stun grenade can precisely mark them as well. Right now, I'm in the middle of a critical operation. One where failure is not an option. I hope this mission can make up for some of my past mistakes, even if just a little. Mission target zone, AZ-3, Asara's only source of nuclear power. The plant's power output is spiking abnormally. This time, I won't let it happen again. An emergency shutdown is our only chance, but the risk is extreme. We not only have to breach Havoc's heavy defenses, we have to face lethal radiation head-on. Some containers within AZ-3 have already been contaminated by radiation. You can follow distinctive sounds to locate them, but keep a close eye on your own radiation levels. Radiation is divided into 4 levels, each causing different effects. Accumulated radiation can be cleared by leaving the contaminated zone and using decon chambers or mobile decon units. During the incident, some personnel lost their access keys. We can use these keys to infiltrate the classified zones and gather intel and supplies.
Key verified. Access granted. AZ-3 key detected.
That's not all. Severe leaks have occurred across multiple sections of the plant. You can choose to endure radiation exposure and enter these zones for high-value supplies and rare data, or stay clear. The choice is yours. Havoc has deployed a large number of purification soldiers at AZ-3. Once your position is exposed, heavy purifiers will apply debuffs like corrosion and slow movement, but attacking the weak spot on their back can neutralize them quickly. An even tougher threat comes from the relink agents. H-1000 personally leads H-47, H-800, and other agents to guard the facility. All of them connected through Skynet. They're extremely persistent. Stay on maximum alert. One final thing. If we do manage to shut down all the nuclear facilities, something unexpected might happen.
Disabling attention. All AZ-3 terminals disabled.
Of course, the nuclear plant has new collectibles too. Over in warfare, things are heating up. The flames of war have reached the weathered stone walls of the Colosseum. This 1,000-year-old city is sliding toward ruination. We've got new weapons. The RM-277 assault rifle excels at sustained suppressive fire, most effective from medium to long range. The SVCH marksman rifle is capable of taking down enemies in one shot at long range. There are also some bonus events coming up. Play Ole 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 to earn points and exchange them for sports-themed rewards and exclusive avatars. The Meltdown Season Pass includes various tactical supplies, including a new outfit for Tempest. The new season's Mandel bricks can yield the AKM assault rifle. Astromancy's not bad. Opening Turbricks gives you a chance at the Law of Time series collectible charms. Good luck. A new melee weapon, Elegy, the exclusive weapon of the Abyss Shark Reese. Pretty cool. Oh, and don't forget, the Rainbow Six Siege crossover is launching soon too. 3 new operator skins. Black Ice weapon skins and special collectibles. Now that's something. Covers the main updates for the Meltdown season. Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up.
Hi everyone, I'm William, the art director of Delta Force. As many of you may already seen, Delta Force is launching a collaboration with Rainbow Six Siege in our next season. Since launch, we've seen a lot of passion and discussion from our community around the tactical shooter gameplay. And whenever players talk about the genre, Rainbow Six Siege is one of the names that come up most often. So, we reach out to Ubisoft.
Bonjour, je suis Émilie Besson, directrice de la réalisation sur Rainbow Six Siege. Oui, Siege a toujours été défini par son gameplay tactique, le travail en équipe et aussi la variété des opérateurs que les joueurs ont appris à connaître et reconnaître au fil des années. Ces collaborations nous donnent l'occasion en fait d'amener les éléments emblématiques de Siege dans un nouvel univers tout en restant fidèle à ce qui les rend uniques.
In this collaboration, we focus on two things: operators and Rainbow Six Siege's iconic visual legacy. We selected 3 operators pairings who share the same combat philosophy.
I'll be there you need me.
말보다는 행동이지.
Call if you need a hand.
For classic Siege elements, we choose to honor Black Ice, the Drone, and the Alpha Pack.
Ce qui était essentiel pour nous de préserver dans la collaboration, c'était l'identité, l'authenticité de nos personnages. C'est ce qui les rend uniques. On a travaillé main dans la main avec l'équipe de Delta Force pour s'assurer que l'authenticité de Siege, l'identité de Siege s'intègre naturellement dans leur jeu.
Both games share a realistic art direction, and finding distinct recognition within that shared aesthetic was actually the harder challenge. We started by preserving the core silhouette and the color framework of Siege operators. Doc and Motin's iconic deep navy uniforms, Vigil's signature custom-fitted gear, these stay true. At the same time, within the finer details, we evolve in Delta Force identity. The wear patches from both teams. Motin carries Cineva's badge. Doc has medical kits at his side. To faithfully recreate Black Ice, we focused our material work on internal ice fracture patterns to capture the distinctive texture and cold, austere feel of original.
Oui, en effet, Black Ice résonne énormément avec notre communauté. C'est une cosmétique d'armes qui a énormément plu à nos joueurs. Et l'équipe de Delta Force a fait vraiment un travail incroyable pour la recréation dans leur jeu de cette cosmétique, avec un souci du détail extrêmement gratifiant.
We employed a dual-layer material system combined with subsurface scattering lighting model. Using camera vectors and a depth texture to offset UV calculations, we achieved the effect of refracture patterns appearing to exist deep inside ice.
Et ce qu'on a apprécié et ce qui nous a impressionné, c'est le travail de recherche de Delta Force. À quel point ils ont été soucieux du détail pour conserver nos opérateurs dans leur jeu, qui s'intègrent vraiment comme naturellement dans leur univers.
Beyond the content itself, we want as many players as possible to access and experience this collaboration. By completing in-game missions during the season, you can unlock these rewards for free. One more thing, in the new operations map, we've prepared something special for you. You will find a surprise in the maps that are meant just for you. Once the crossover goes live, go find them. Once more, onto the bridge.
Dear friends, once more.
We've received an emergency transmission from Hadawi, a Havoc nuclear engineer. Patching through.
This is AZ-3 facility. Reactor 2 has been sabotaged. Havoc internal forces can't handle this threat anymore. You're all I've got left.
Running blind on intel for the AO. This region is at high risk of a nuclear incident. Keep the following in mind. Shoot, loot, then time to scoop.
The signal is clear. Take action. It's
okay here. Not too cold.
Experiment 66 is projected to conclude in T-minus 3 hours. All units submit safety risk assessments on schedule.
I've got a reading.
No hazmat suits? Raise him!
Let's make it quick.
Enjoy the bomb!
So eager to die. Excellent.
I don't know what's happening, but reactor output is still climbing. And security thinks I'm behind this. They're coming for me. GTI, move it, now!
Key verified. Access granted. Hostile signal detected. Lethal action authorized.
Damn it! Someone take control of this piece of junk!
Entering manual mode. Executing command.
Those bastards in fusion research won't authorize shutdown because of their experiment timeline. I know better than anyone how important this research is. Hold this position. Once I finish calibration, use that console to insert the control rods immediately. Data set. Follow me. I know somewhere the signal can get through.
Steam explosion at reactor 2. Incident level confirmed. Estimated contamination radius.
Careful! Don't fall! We're outside the signal blackout zone. Upload the data package to Skynet immediately. Encryption keys in the archive. Just send it!
Critical alert. Reactor power output has critically exceeded safety threshold. Core meltdown imminent. All personnel evacuate immediately. Priority alert. Hydrogen explosion at reactor 2. Incident level confirmed. INDS scale 7. Major accident. All personnel evacuate beyond contamination zone immediately. Estimated spread radius 3.7 kilometers. Correction, 9.2 kilometers. Correction, 24.9 kilometers. Correction, 45.3 kilometers. Correction, 79.8 kilometers.
For some, success is measured by bodies in bags. Maybe that suits them. But to me, it's measured in hearts that keep beating. You with me?
The enemy got the mantle bricks. Find and stop them. Mantle bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first mantle brick pick up the tournament, and they're going to do it!
What goes around, comes around.
Oh, not gonna do very much, though. You get barrel stuff, Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. Much damage, and there it is.
Well, good evening or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome into the Delta Force Rise series. It's week 2, day 1 of groups B and D here in the Americas region. I am Goj, and I'm really excited to be back with Americas here with the Delta Force Rise series. And I've got DK back with me. DK, how the heck you doing, my man?
Super excited to be here. Of course, as you said, right? Week 2, day 1, also known as day 4. Either which way, super
Yeah,
excited
true.
to see what the teams are going to be bringing in. But yes, I mean, second week of action. The teams have now had a few days to kind of recollect all the strategies they want to bring forward here. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what these teams are going to be bringing in.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it as well. Our overall standings are looking wild already, and it feels like we just got started. But before we get to all of that, I do want to take a look back at how we wrapped up last week on day 3. Let's take a look.
Way no, Snows runs out of ammo where he gets one knock. This is a full sin on the back of the Sineva operator. Does swing across. Wait, he picks up 2. Snows goes huge.
Seemed to mean business moving up into tight prison. Up comes the push, and that is it. L Snows. So the pressure is just too much. As one player goes down too easy, just locking in, popping off. One more to go. Oh, beautiful headshot.
Can he get 3?
Oh. But now it is going to be absolute pressure continuing to flow here. Oh no, FX gets taken out. Down they go.
Team Liquid Mendo. That is a ton of value from Team Liquid. They were going to go up to Ridge. They heard the shots. They came into the party. Widows as a solo, having to take down a duo.
In onto the position here. So I think they did a stand-up job, but now, of course, then it is going to be Nadeshot. Up right behind them there, so it could be a big upset. Look at that hit, though. That easy win unlocked. SSG, though, not going to be looking to make this one easy. As Killzone, beautiful set, makes it look effortless, and ooh.
Tempest. Oh wait, it's FX. They don't have a Tempest. It's just about gunning down your opponent. Too easy. Still on brick. Killzall holding the long angle. 9 seconds on the clock, and Killzall's killing everybody. Here comes Liquids. They've got a Tempest going for a steal. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. 2. SSG have held the line yet again. SSG continue to add more salt to the wound of all their opponents. Nobody can stop Spacestation Gaming.
Oh, again, another absolutely impressive performance coming through here from Killzall. Just so on the money, but he is not done yet as he continues to clean up the layer.
I got chills, man. Delta Force Rise series, so much fun to watch that one back. That was day 3 last week, but it's here today that we've got to talk about how this Rise series works. For those at home that haven't been watching, and you're watching that that video that we just watched back as well, and you say, wow, that looks really dang cool. How does it all work? Wait, Spacestation 1? What does that mean? Well, I got you, and DK's got you, because we're going to break it all down. Let's take a look at our overall leaderboard and how this all works out with our bracket as well. DK, walk me through this, because our teams have been playing against each other, but they're grouped up inside of groups to determine who matches up.
Yeah, as we can see, the players, teams up there who's already won their respective first 3 days. So Spacestation Gaming, they brought in a performance that was out of this world. No pun intended, because you can see just on those replays, they were absolutely lighting up day 3 as well. So a very strong push coming through from them. But of course, you can see their team Nadeshot, they did secure themselves that second day finish as well. So looking at the overall leaderboard, this is where we can see where the teams are that might find themselves in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, it's exactly right. You can see Team Nadeshot, again, they only played one match last week, right? We play a total of 3 days. You play a total of 3 matches, but not every team plays every day. And you're going to go back and forth week to week on whether you're playing 1 or 2. So everybody will play the same amount, but Team Nadeshot is currently perfect. They have 10 points. And guess what? They're playing again today. You saw that it was B and D, and Team Nadeshot is in that D group. So they'll be playing again today. If they can go perfect again, if they can win again, they will stay undefeated and will be matching SSG at the top. Otherwise, though, big shout out to LEVIATAN. They've been fairly consistent. I've really got my eyes on, there's a bunch of teams I got my eyes on today, but I've got my eyes on some of these rosters that have been slaying out. Look at those kill points. A gigantic difference between a team like Team Nadeshot at 14 kills total, and then a team like LEVIATAN and SSG, who, yes, they've played more matches, but they're at 37 total kills in 2 different matches. That is a wild feat to put up 18 plus kills in each of their respective matches. Very well done there. Nightmare, the same, 35 overall. Look at all the way on the right-hand side, though, some of these teams that are struggling a little bit. They haven't had as much success. Really need a team like BTH to step up today. They're in Group D. They're going to be competing today, and so they need to showcase to the world, hey, just because we're at the bottom of the leaderboard after week 1 doesn't mean that's where we're going to stay. So I'm excited to watch all of our rosters today, but before we get more into the rosters and what's going to be happening today, let's take a look at a cool video on how the entirety of the Rise Series works in terms of its format.
Delta Force. 1 game, 2 regions, 1 shot at glory. This is the complete guide to Delta Force Rise Series EMEA and Americas Season 1. Everything you need to know, from the very first match to the last squad standing. The path is the same in both regions. It starts with the open qualifiers, open to any team that wants to compete. The best push through to the group stage, where the top 2 advance directly to the finals, bottom 2 eliminated, and the rest battle through the survivor stage to earn their spot. From the open qualifiers, 12 teams have fought their way into the season, and only 1 will lift the trophy. The group stage runs for 4 weeks, with matches every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The 12 teams are split into 4 groups, A, B, C, and D. 3 teams per group. Each broadcast day, 2 groups go head-to-head in a cross-group match. Every match is a 7-round format. 6 teams competing in the same lobby simultaneously, across up to 7 rounds on maps like Zero Dam, Brakkesh, Tide Prison, and Space City. Teams earn squad points by scoring eliminations and accumulating in-game total assets. And on brick rounds, they compete to collect and decode Mandel bricks, artifacts that decide the round winner. Decode 2 Mandel bricks in a match and the victory is locked in, no matter what round you're on. After 12 match days, the group stage standings are final. Places 1 to 2 go straight to the finals. Places 3 to 8 enter Survivor Stage Day 1. Places 9 to 10 drop into Survivor Stage Day 2. Places 11 to 12 are eliminated. The Survivor Stage is where the bracket narrows fast. Day 1 brings those 6 teams together for one 7-round match. The top 2 advance directly to the finals. Places 3 to 6 get 1 more shot. Day 2 mixes the 4 survivors from Day 1 with the 2 teams ranked 9th and 10th from the group stage. Again, 6 teams, 1 7-round match. Top 2 go to the finals. Everyone else is out. 6 teams, 1 day, 1 lobby, 1 match. This is the finals, the ultimate showdown of the season. 2 teams earned it through the group stage. 2 more survived Day 1. The last 2 came through Day 2. Every team deserves to be there. The top 3 finishers earn an invitation to Season 2. Welcome to Delta Force Rise Series EMEA and Americas Season 1. Loot, shoot, extract.
Alrighty, folks, you got a breakdown. Now it's time for us to walk you through it as well. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. I know a lot of folks are coming in for the very first time. Already seen a few new faces today. So first and foremost, we talked about groups and how it all works, but there's a group stage, right? We have a total of 12 teams that we showed you in 4 different groups, and they're playing over the course of 4 weeks, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, for a total of 12 matches. And of course, those matches can go up to 7 rounds. Haven't seen them all go to 7, but many end up do. Now, in the group stage, we're looking for the top 2 to go straight to the finals. If you're one of the top 2 teams in the group stages, at the end of our 4 weeks, straight to the finals you go. You wait on the rest of your competitors for that final day. However, everybody else, if you find yourselves in 3rd through 8th in group stages or 9th through 10th, you're going to be moving your way into the survivor stages. And that's where you start to be able to play for your spot in the finals and really exciting matches on that week 5. So it's 5 total weeks of competition, and I'm really pumped to see who makes it to the finals, but we have a long road to get there first. And some of the teams that have got a hot start now, they've got a nice little room for error in case things go awry today or tomorrow or next week. But at the end of the day, it's just about who's standing in those top 10 spots to even just keep playing in week 5. But I want to talk about the tournament rules and what you're going to be seeing today in a single match. These are the rules that matter. 1, everybody's going to be starting with 1.5 million Technic Alloy just to get their kits all ready to go. If you die, you lose your gear. I'm going to emphasize this often today because it's just like pubs. Anytime you die, you don't get anything back in the mailbox, folks. All right, you got to keep working to stay alive and hopefully extract. All of our games are a season behind, so we're on Season Echo, so you will see Morse today, but you won't see N2. No freezing people out there, not yet. Now, the way this tournament works is very important. Mantle bricks are the key to success. If you want to win this competition, mantle bricks will get you there. If you win 2, if you get 2 mantle bricks to fully decoded, you win the match no matter what round we're on. Now, the fastest you could do that is by round 4. You can see there's a mantle brick and an airdrop in round 2, and then round 4 is also our first mantle brick alone round. And if you're able to get both the mantle brick on round 2 and on 4, we could be done in 4 games, which does not happen often, but it has happened before. Oftentimes we go 5, 6, or potentially even 7. And once we get to 7, the team that's in last does actually pick the map that we're playing. But the other key rule is that we have a ton of operators, but each of our operators can only be used a total of twice by the entire team over the course of our first 6 rounds. If we do get to round 7, all of those operators will be open again. So for instance, if you run double Nox on Tide Prison, you can't use Nox any other time in the tournament. Now, in terms of the actual rules of what you'll be loading in with, you do have your 3x3 ultimate safe box, and you do have a 12-slot card holder, and you can basically get any card you want essentially for free, which is nice to be able to move around the map and not get trapped. Now, the resources is a key factor of this competition. You do get a little bit of fixed supply every round. Just in case things are going totally awry, you're able to still buy guns. So you get 700k in total at the end of every round. That's that fixed supply. But the big ticket item is that every elimination, every kill, you get 800k per kill straight to the bank. You get that in Technic Alloy when you go back to the lobby. That is a massive way to get your resources up, especially if you're fighting over the mantle brick and trying to code mantle bricks, which does give you a little bit of cash as well. But usually when you're fighting over the mantle brick in the final minute or 2 of the map, you're not going to get out of the map. So if you get those kills, you can certainly comp your gear a little bit later, especially because a full team wipe is 2.4 million in total. Crazy stuff there. But I told you mantle bricks are the most important part, so here are the rules. The mantle bricks, they spawn in quickly after the match starts. Again, you're going to see this on round 2, round 4, etc. Once it's been picked up, in general, anybody, whether it's on the ground because somebody dropped it or otherwise, you have 5 minutes to put into a decoding station. If that timer hits 0, it will respawn at its spawn. But the big timer that we pay attention to is once the decoding starts. There's decoding stations all over the map. They're all fixed places that all the players have studied. Once a mantle brick is put into one of those decoding stations, 4 minutes are on the clock. Sometimes the team that puts it there first keeps it for a full 4 minutes and they get the brick. Congrats to them. But usually it gets stolen. Every single time it gets stolen, folks, that max timer is reduced by 30 seconds. So for the first steal, if the timer says 10 seconds left and you steal it and you now are in control of the mantle brick, it's going to be 3.5 minutes on the clock. And of course, if it trades back and forth, it's going to go down by 30 seconds every single time until we get to 90 seconds total. 1 minute and 30 seconds. That is the minimum decoding time. So if our game clock is lower than that when you get your steal, well, unfortunately, nobody's getting the brick. But another key factor that was added in fairly recently, which I love, is that if the squad that's decoding the mantle brick currently gets eliminated, they get full wiped, that timer pauses. So a ton of rules around the mantle brick because it is the most important part. But DK, talk to me about our scoring system for group stages.
Well, this is the only way that you are going to ensure that you sit where you want to or need to sit over on those overall rankings. Because if you finish on first place here today, you are going to be walking away with 8 points plus how many ever mantle bricks you were able to decode. Same thing goes for second, third, fourth, all the way down to 6th place. Is it likely for us to see the team in 6th place for the mantle brick?
Not really, because that math doesn't quite math. But hey, you know what? If it works, it works. So the highest amount of points that the team can score here is going to be 10 points. So that is what they are going to be trying to push for. And the only way to get that, as we can see looking at the screen right here, is to go for the double brick approach. Now, as we know, a few of the squads in here have been able to pull that one out of the hat. But this is a new day and new teams to go up against, so it is going to be a pretty tall order to see if those efforts can be replicated coming into today. But yep, that is the only way to do it.
Yeah, it's a good shout, DK, and I think we talked about this last time, is that mana bricks are everything, but these supply points do matter, folks. The way supply points works is they're broken out, squad points is broken out between kill points and supply points. They are what they sound like. Kill points, you get a point for every single kill you get, and supply points, you get them for the amount of loot that you earn or extract with or is in your stash at the end of it. And so the big ticket about supply points is that it's for every 2 million in total stash value, it is equal to 1 point, and that's all rounded down. So if you have 1.9 mil, that's still not a point. So you have to get at least 2 mil and in 2 mil increments to earn those supply points, which are very valuable. That's our ranking system, aside from the mana brick side of things. But talk to me about prize pool, DK. We got a ton of money on the line throughout the course of these 5 weeks.
Yeah, as you can see, first place is going to be worth a whopping 60k, so there's going to be quite a lot to play for to be the team sitting at the top. But as we know, everybody here that is participating is going to be walking away with something, right? Every place is accounted for, all the way from 1st down to 12th place. Everybody's going to be receiving a little bit of moolah over on their end. Of course, also, the dynamic kill bonus is an absolutely banger of a thing that we've been looking at over the past few days. You've got teams that come in with like 18 eliminations or 21 eliminations. Absolute insanity, but that's 21 times 50. That adds up to a whole lot of dosh going their way. And of course, we did see our MVP being awarded 3k as well. That is going to happen rather all the way on the very last day, on the final day, which is going to be the finals, of course, as well. But speaking of which, though, for today, we are going to be looking at our participating groups here. We are going to be looking at B and D. So A and Group C are going to be having themselves a nice bit of a rest, but we've got quite a few squads stepping up to the plate here. And I mean, we were talking about those decoding station contentions coming through a little bit earlier on, right? And I have a little bit of something that I want to talk about when we get closer to that. But of course, we've got a lineup of squads here, and I mean, they've been bringing quite a bit of heat out onto the field here.
Yeah, I talked a lot about Group D already. I'm excited to talk about Group B. You'll see all of their rosters here in just a moment, but we do want to remind you about the schedule. Yes, today is B and D, so if you are a fan of a team in Group A, for instance, you'll see them tomorrow. Again, like I told you, you can see it on your screens now. If you could read a calendar, you can certainly read this every Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the next now 4 weeks left, starting today. We've already wrapped up week 1, and we're here in week 2, and this would be what I would call day 1, or like DK said, day 4, match 4. You can see on our graphic here. We'll go through all of these matches with you, and excited to share all of the games for the Delta Force Rise series to see who will win the finals. Let's talk about the rosters today, though, and let's kick it off with FaZe. Now, we saw FaZe on the map actually in that recap. FaZe is an interesting team. They've had their ups and downs throughout the course of week 1. There were moments where it's like, man, they can't get anything going. And then you see this guy on your screen, El Snows, with nearly a 9 KD on the map. The dude is 1v3ing in our highlight reel package. So they have something special. If they can piece it together today, FaZe is certainly a contender. But W Key Forever, WKF, this is an interesting roster, DK. They also were a pretty up and down roster. They didn't have necessarily a ton of great moments, but didn't really do anything bad either. And then, unfortunately, with the Delta Force Rise series, when you go in the mediocre, you usually end up near the bottom because you got to get Mandel bricks if you want to find your way to the top of the leaderboard.
I mean, eliminations are not everything, but they do help a little bit, so you're going to have to try and play every single strategy that you can think of. But speaking about Mandel bricks, the Evil Geniuses, we did see them last time they played, of course, being able to bag themselves up that one Mandel brick decode. So I'm curious to see whether or not they're going to go for gold here today, look to get that back-to-back play. And of course, with Articuno on the squad, what could go wrong?
That team was so strong in their first appearance. I thought they had it in the bag, and then things started to crumble at the very end. So if they have a bit of stamina today, I think they've got a really good chance of winning this one. Watch out for Evil Geniuses on the map, but all of these teams can certainly step up to the challenge of winning our match number 4, which is our first match today. This is Group B, by the way. This is what we were talking about. They are playing now against Group D. So let's talk about BTH. Looking at this roster, you know, this is a fun roster for me because they play different than a lot of the other teams out there. This is a very slow paced team. They like to come in last to the party. They don't like to make any super aggressive moves, but they're solid team fighters, and they certainly love to do just that. There's been multiple times, especially when we get to those Space City maps, where this team was rotating around the outside of the map, hunting teams rather than playing for the brick, and it actually ended up paying off for them at least once. So watch out for that roster. But technically, Team Nadeshot is the top team, as they are the team that won their last match and therefore have 10 points. So they've got a really good chance trying to go back to back here and maybe put Space Station Gaming on alert as not the only team that can go undefeated. They're an interesting team for multiple reasons. I think, one, they're the first team to qualify for the Delta Force Rise Series technically, and also they don't play that aggressive, but they are certainly good at playing for bricks. Speaking of a team that does like to play a little bit more aggressive, DK, talk to me about Mendo. My goodness, this guy's a slayer.
He's a goat. He is a goat, right? That is it. That is all the description that Mendo needs. But of course, luckily for Mendo, he is in a great company as well with the rest of the team here. So we're really going to be looking to see what they can all bring onto day number 4, what they can bring in and how much pressure they are going to be looking to apply here. And I'm super excited because we've got quite a bit of a lineup for our teams getting ready to step onto the field for the first time here today. But yeah, one thing that I'm curious about is last week, right, we saw some interesting things happening with regards to Team Nadeshot and, of course, the players there from Team Liquid. Both ends having some pretty exciting runs, right? Both of the teams, of course, managing to get their hands on those Mandel bricks. I wonder today if anybody is going to look to contest Team Nadeshot once we head over into Brakkesh, right? Because last week, they got it for free.
Yeah, I think it's a really good call out. Speaking of the map rotation, Brakkesh, you'll see that on round 2. That's our first Mandel brick round that DK was talking about. It's one that we have to pay attention to because it really does set the tone for this competition. Will be airdrops on that as well. We'll talk a little bit more about it. If we do get to round 7, you saw that on the screen, by the way. Team in last gets to choose between Brakkesh or Space City. But as we take a look at our operators, of course, no operators having been used yet. Those green bars down at the bottom of each operator profile, folks, that's how many times the operator has been used. If they are grayed out, they cannot be used again. Reminder, only twice per entire match, except for that round 7 where they all reset. As we turn our eyes to Zero Dam to kick off our first economy round, our team's looking to get some kills for some money and hopefully some loot as well. We'll be seeing a lot of this operator comp, if you can call it that. D-Wolf, Raptor, and then Vlender have been some of the top operator choices on the map in Zero Dam, and including Viren, namely because DK sold operators is really what you want when you're just trying to slay out. Zero Dam is a fun map. Admin always has some banger loot and some banger action. But in my mind, Zero Dam, it's all about getting your gunny warm. We've got to take fights. If you're playing Zero Dam warm, you're kind of you're kind of wasting your time. You got to get warm on Zero Dam. And we'll see the players get focused. And hopefully they're already warm, but they're one more chance to warm up here on Zero Dam.
I mean, Mr. Dio God over here is definitely warming up, right? He's warming up his ears and making sure that he is well set to go as he's just enjoying the living goodness out of those jams over there. But of course, as you can see, right, everybody's just making sure they got themselves primed and ready to roll. So pretty curious to see how the teams are going to look to perform here today. And I think there is going to be quite a bit of excitement heading our way very, very soon. Peggy, yeah, I like those headphones, right? Definitely reindeer. That is going to be one way to kind of help you get the pacing going. But I think especially looking at WKF here, you know, the W key forever, today is going to be a big day for them because looking at where we saw them on the board, they need to bring home some points, right? They need to lock it in and just try and either go for eliminations, stack up on those kills, or we need to see them push for the mantle bricks, because last time we saw them, they only had 7 eliminations throughout the entire match. So they're going to have to double down, right? They're going to have to step it up, because the team just ahead of them, BTH, for instance, they've got 15 eliminations, right? So it leaves a bit of a vacancy, a bit of a vacuum there for them to try and fill and kind of step up into that. But you can see the Evil Geniuses, they look chill, right? I mean, even Articuno here, he's just all cool, calm, and collected. It doesn't seem like they are getting ready to step out for the first time here today.
This roster is star-studded for certain. Loco was putting on a show for us in the last match that Evil Geniuses played. So all 3 of those guys can 1v3 given the right moment, being able to isolate their ones. And so it'll be fun to watch that roster. But BTH is the roster I was talking about. It's so fun watching Delta Force Rise series and frankly, just Extraction eSport in general, which is the only one of the Extraction genre. Operations is so much fun to watch in a competitive standpoint, because there's technically a bunch of different ways you can play, especially under our format, and still get the win. You can play a little bit slower. Some people would call that more strategic, and you'd be able to play for the mana bricks and the mana bricks alone. Some of these other teams are playing for the kills, because there's kind of an age-old sentiment that if you just kill everybody on the map, you'll get the mana brick eventually, right? One thing that hasn't been the case is that these teams haven't been willing sometimes to make the first move. And the teams that do make the first move open up the floodgates and usually get eliminated. So there is this kind of cat and mouse game that'll happen on the map. So we swing over to Team Liquid, though. We get a chance to look at Boy. We get a chance to look at Hodsig, Mendo. This is a roster that is super interesting for a ton of reasons. I think they've got a lot of fans out there that really want to see Team Liquid succeed, but also they have professional experience in some other titles, and they're one of the only teams that can say that. And so because of that, you have a roster like Team Liquid that under pressure, when things are not going their way, they may be a bit more resilient than the others. But listen, if it's a vibe game, I think Diogod's got that on lock. He's got all the vibes that nobody else has right now. This is, I hope FaZe pop off in Zero Dan.
I need those jams, dude. I need those jams. I don't know what he's listening to, but it looks like it is an absolute vibe cooking over on that end. I want to see that then happen when they step out onto the field, right? I want to see this happy vibe just continuing across the way. I think it's going to be difficult to bring that man down here today, so really looking forward to the action, but there's going to be a lot of that needs to come through. As we know, the teams are primed, they're ready, and we're just waiting for that green light to kick off rather, all the insanity that we're going to have here. I mean, especially just looking back at what they've all been bringing onto the field here, right? I mean, we did see Team Liquid grabbing that good, strong finish over on Space City that they played, right? They did get themselves in a good few T1 spawns as well, so I think there's a lot of opportunities as the teams are going to be pacing through the days. Man, she's glorious. A monster energy drink over there. Looking pretty good. Pretty toasty.
Gotta stay locked in,
yes,
man.
Sir. Yes, sir. And you know something's happening when you know you got that logo on your shoulder and you got the can in your hand, right? There's just something happening over there.
Well, here we go, folks. It is time for Zero Damn. I do want to let you know that before we jump into round 1, we got a quick giveaway. A redeemable code just appeared on your screen for the Neko Mimi spray paint. Be quick. It's got a limited number of activations, so once they're gone, they're gone. Good luck. Type it in. You can see you can redeem it in-game or at the official website. Type in this code on your screen. I'm not going to read it out for you. You've got to type it in yourself, and you better type quick. It might already be gone. This is a limited amount of redemptions, so type it in as fast as humanly possible. We've got more rewards for the rest of the broadcast as well, so make sure you're paying attention and listening to our voice as we get into the action. It's time for Zero Damn. You get your loot while the players get theirs. Here we go, folks. DK, we're dropping in. We gotta let our audience know to watch out for those airdrops. It's the one thing we haven't talked about yet. The big thing you watch out for. Look at that airdrop preparing 3 minutes before it starts to come out of the sky. You've got 2. One will have an AWM or an M82, some heavy-hitting sniper rifles that can one-shot your opponents. These are going to be huge later in the competition on Mana Brick rounds. The others got some red and gold loot.
Yeah, let's see whether or not that red and gold loot is going to be able to work out for them as everybody now starts to push on up. You can see Team Liquid already with a quick and early position there as they get that quick rush up in towards admin. But BTH also seems like they have their hands on a glorious T1 spawn here. So it is looking pretty hopeful. Few more squads, but now we got to see whether or not only if they can get their hands on a little bit of those reds, as we've seen them be plentiful. There's one coming through from Tooth. But of course, can they get their hands on a little bit of that aggression as well?
BTH picking up a little 1.5 mil. We can see our operator selections down below and to the side. You can see everybody's in purple and blue. That's usual on Zero Dam. You can't really bring in anything else. There's solid choices across the board, but BTH, the biggest winner, is in the loot category. Picking up the graphics card too for 327K. Let's go. That's a nice little start for BTH.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want to try and get as much of that group going, right? It's going to be the main and the chief objective, I'd say, at this stage for the teams to try and get that economy as high as they can. A lot of blue bullets coming in across the way. And this is the only round that we really see the blue rounds getting utilized, as it doesn't do all too much once there's a gold armor in play, right? You're going to have to send out so much of it to really make too much of a bunch happen over there. But speaking about bunches, though, there's a lot of scanning, right? A lot of the recon happening here as the teams are trying to find a good, decent position and some nice bit of clarity as to how they are to move in.
Yeah, and again, we see when we looked at the operators, and again, you can see them on the left. If you're on mobile, it might be a little small, but Raptor is on every single team. Why? Because you can get so much intel. Zero Dam has these wide open spaces on rotations. You've got to clear if you're going to try to go from one POI to the next. Raptor can be also helpful inside. But Team Liquid are alone inside of admin, which is very surprising given their start. Being in that tier 1 spawn and getting to admin first is nice for loot, but usually you're one of the first teams to an engagement. And for now, all quiet as Hotsick finally pulls CD, so that'd be 223.
Ooh. All right. I mean, slowly but surely they're definitely looking to stack up on as much of the loot here available to them. But it's all going to be down to whether or not they can actually get those into their 3x3s. That's going to be step number 1. And step number bonus is going to be if they get to extract, right? That really helps out quite a bit. But you were talking about the squad elims earlier, right? So that's what 2.4 mil in value for taking out a full opposing team.
Yeah.
So if you get to do that and you get the elimination points as well, that's 4 easy points on the board.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a great shout, DK. This is a very slow start compared to what we're used to. Oftentimes, these teams will be much more aggressive, but it looks like Evil Geniuses are outside of admin right now, taking their time as Articuno is way away. They're coming in from the underground area here. It's Articuno currently underground, working his way towards admin. Potentially, or at least holding to see if maybe somebody else is going to take this rotation, get some intel.
Intel is key, right? You need that to have a good play moving forward here, especially when you are trying to focus on getting your hands on as much loot, especially in this first initial phase here. Looking over towards BTH, though, they are going to be situated still pretty much over in towards that major substation, trying to test the water, looking to see if it's going to be worthwhile maybe venturing up into Visitors. But as we can see on the map, of course, Visitors is open. FaZe, though, in the meantime, they're going to come through with a little bit more of a sneaky approach, coming in through on the zip lines. Ooh, we do see some bolties there, so that could be quite an exciting play from their end.
Now, FaZe have rotated, like you mentioned, all the way up Ridge, over kind of near the parkour course to get down to where this airdrop is. The airdrop's actually landed on the north drop point. There's a couple different spots that can drop. It's the first time in a little while we've seen the north drop, which is just outside of the shipping containers. That looks like Hodzic is looking at. I think he has a read on the fact that WKF have elected to try to make a play potentially for this airdrop. You can see it on the mini map. It's that gold or yellow triangle. Came in from the skies. FaZe, I don't think they quite have an angle on it, but they definitely have a bird's eye view of the map. And at least from where Snows is looking, I think he's spotted, yes, definitely spotted Team Nadeshot way off into the distance. I'm glad all of those players are still in the lobby. So Team Nadeshot back into the action. We'll see how they decide to rotate to some action. DK, I don't know that we've watched nearly 8 minutes of 0 damn at this point without hardly a bullet fired in general. I mean, we've seen some standoffs in admin, but this is next level. People really taking their time to warm up. Wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a shift in the pacing that we're looking at. But, you know, if you ask for shots, you just wait a little while and the teams will answer the question.
There we go.
W Key Forever are stepping straight up onto it. We can see Crab and Peaky finding themselves in a bit of a spot over here, just up onto those containers. But even looking at Team Liquid's position, right, it doesn't seem like they're really all to face. Yes, we do see Hunsig poking out the window, just putting a few sprays over in this direction. We do see Mendo covering that, making sure that nobody's going to slide up through there. But if we look down below into the underground, this is where we've got the Evil Geniuses and BTH getting right into the action. The first hit coming through there, and this could be a start of a beautiful snowball session.
Yeah, it's an interesting play because Artican was actually split from his team. So he's not even playing right next to his team. He's playing on the outside. So they're actually setting, like you said, a pinch to be able to surround BTH and make a big play here. Looks pre-programmed. It looks planned by Evil Geniuses. And BTH maybe are starting to realize we don't like this fight, at least not this position in the fight. What if we try to address this fight from a different angle as well? They might back out a little bit here. Not overcommit to a fight they don't feel like they can win.
It's always important to try and get a good read on the situation here. I think both teams doing a pretty decent job. Nobody blindly committing to anything, but in the meantime, while our squads are focused on each other, we do see that airdrop trying to be reached here by the side of WKF. Of course, the second one is going to be opening up very, very soon as well. And already the play is coming through from Team Nadeshot. They are beautifully set up exactly for that play. They've not been able to find a whole lot of loot, though. Only 56k to their name. That is a pretty scary number to look at, but for a whole bunch of different reasons, right? You want to see as many as you can find, or rather get as much loot as you can find. So the higher the number, the better it is. In the meantime, waiting to see some kind of a conclusion come through here between the Evil Geniuses and BTH. Both squads kind of just finding themselves in that standoff. At some point, somebody has to do something, right? They either have to rotate all the way up through the tunnels, get up in towards admin, or they just got to send it, right? Get a bit sweaty.
Yeah, this is anything but at this point. BTH, like I mentioned, really didn't feel good about this angle. Take a look at what Team Nadeshot's doing. They've actually set up on the south side of the map, playing for the second airdrop. This should hopefully give them some decent loot. They want to double check that it's not being contested by somebody else, and currently the coast is clear, so we'll see what they pull. Hopefully something decent. So far, not great at all. Yeah, pretty rough. Did pick up a Rolex, nice, from Slept. But again, when you're looking for 2 million to equal a single supply point, I mean, that helps buy some better loadouts, but doesn't really help in the point category, which is what you're looking for. Needed a little bit better RNG, don't get it, but we've got a fight potentially. WKF, instead of going for the airdrop, they've sprinted inside. They want to win this high ground position over TL, and if they can win it, then they can play for the airdrop.
I like the aggression that they're showing, though, right? I mean, they're not just walking into the top floor. They are just full on sending it. They're rushing, they're running, trying to clear these angles as quickly as they can. As you can see, Mendo is primed and ready to go with D-Wolf as he activates that quick ulti here. Is going to get ready to just push on forward. Oh, the aggression, though, landing right on him as Pratt comes through with the first hit. Mendo quick with the follow-up. Absolutely on the money, though.
A huge trade for Mendo, but Krabs be able to trade it right back. WKF, they've got one more in their sights, and they get it. We said WKF played a little bit too slow. They heard the call and lived up to their name. W key forever, they W key inside, and they wipe Team Liquid, who is not prepared for, yes, the onslaught, but also not prepared for Krabs' position. What a win from WKF, but it looks like Evil Geniuses maybe hear the gunshot, hear the fire, and want to get into the action. Certainly showing up too late. They're slowly creeping their way back from the underground position into admin. potentially contest this team while FaZe is crept down from the outside. We've got more action on screen already as Evil Geniuses made their way to the first floor, working their way up the stairs.
I like this kind of basing coming through here, and it's just absolute sweats all over the place. But let's see whether or not Crab can get his hands on even more eliminations. Because looking at the Evil Geniuses right now, what they've been doing in the previous days, they really know how to work their way through these engagements. So it is all going to be on WKF to see whether or not they can actually land those sprays. But look at the teamwork. A nice bit of that strategic push coming through. Again, not a whole lot of blind sending. Instead, they are going to be basing it up, but they have to pick up the base considerably because FaZe is now also entered the building. So the heat is going to be coming in pretty hot.
Yeah, this is bad news for Evil Geniuses because FaZe is going to come up and third party this, and they're the ones going to be trapped in between two teams. Yes, WKF might be trapped inside of a room right now, but Evil Geniuses feel the pressure. I think they're getting a read on the situation. Look at them go. They are full sprinting away from this engagement, trying to put WKF potentially in the middle of the two teams themselves, and then, of course, FaZe on the other side. FaZe is split up, playing underground, playing on the outside, working their way in. Not triple challing as a full team. This is a smart play from Evil Geniuses. They did not want to get trapped here. And with only under 6 minutes now remaining, we're going to see another engagement here from Team Nadeshot and BTH. BTH a little bit split as well, but I'm not sure Team Nadeshot's going to be able to capitalize on this as Lord Jocko feels the pressure and comes charging forward to try to help out his team. Trying to get blows down range, but in general, nothing major yet between these two, while on the opposite side, FaZe is getting really aggressive. This is best case scenario for Evil Geniuses, but even better for WKF, who's just picked up their 4th kill point of Zero Dam. Really going for these points early.
So it seems like Evil Geniuses, they've done a really good rotation, going all the way over on towards that far western side, keeping themselves well removed from this engagement. But FaZe actually being met with quite a bit of counter-aggression here. WKF, they mean business, right? They came into today prepared. They're going to try and reclaim their position on this overall rankings, even if they have to work their way through every other team in this lobby. They already took down Team Liquid. Could it be FaZe, the next one to fall to the aggression? Mumu also coming through with a bit of a response, and this is now FaZe being caught in a sandwich.
Yeah, picture down on the bottom right, BTH and Team Nadeshot are trading blows. They're both down a player right now, so both these fights going on at the same time. But the one on main is a 3-team battle. Currently, the only team to have lost one is FaZe. We swing over in a lull to see the engagement here. Chris trying to line one up on Toot. This is going to be a res coming through for Lord Jackow. Utilizing Vlinder. We talked about the metas and what operators people choose. Vlinder is very valuable in team fights here on Zero Dam. But both teams able to pick up their third. Both teams, a full team of 3, trying to engage on one another and get a player advantage yet again.
Like how the position has evolved and both teams now taking it above ground where things are just a little bit more comfortable. You can breathe slightly more comfortably as well. But let's see whether or not Ka is going to get anything locked in here. It's just scanning frantically up ahead of them. As you can see, Smile knows that something is just around the corner, as there's good awareness from either which side. Meanwhile, jumping right back up into admin. Psychoda is going to try everything he can, but the utility's landing right on top of him. Quick little bit of an upset here coming through, but not too much to write home about just yet. WKF, though, still have 3 players up, and they come sitting on a very comfortable nearly 3 million in profits.
Solid cash. But even more importantly, they have the kills. WKF on 4 right now. Folks, we already have 3 minutes on the clock. Our poor elevator extract is likely not going to be used at this point. I would say certainly not going to be used. And also Team Nadeshot finally finding their first blood on Toot after the reses went both ways. They now have a small player advantage, and BTH do have a height advantage in this engagement. But with a potential pinch pushing up, Team Nadeshot going to try to get the better of their opponents and make sure they get this full. Very well done to get the point, the extra cash, and he's hunting down Kaz. Actually pinned 1, ping 2. Looking for the 3rd right now. Only 1 player remaining, and Ka is running for his life. Just preventing Team Nadeshot from getting another kill point is really important. We swing back to another piece of the action because WKF, again, on 4 kills this map. Currently the big winners of Zero Dam. Looking for a bit more.
I like where their head's at. I like what they've been doing so far. Let's see whether or not FaZe can get the ball rolling on the action here. Crab just so relentless on the efforts, as we do see the plays there from the Evil Geniuses starting to move in, and this is now WKF finding themselves in quite a bit of a predicament here, getting pressured from both ends so far. Doesn't seem like they are too phased. They seem quite capable of handling the stakes here. As you can see now, the shots are starting to lock in onto FaZe as they start to move on forward. Mumu also going to come in with quite a bit of aggression here, and it is going to be absolute sweat. Peaky quick on the reaction, picks up the trade, but can he not close it up as the Evil Geniuses are going to continue with the bombardment here?
A 2v2 on main with 90 seconds on the clock. These are extremely important kills for both teams. But WKF now have 5 kill points. And it looks like they may even prevent Evil Geniuses from getting the full that they desperately want. They're able to pick up this res. This is great points gained and great points held from their opponents. Articuno looking to get a bit more aggressive, but doesn't want to sell his life. A 2v3 is possible for these gentlemen, especially when the res is going off. But is the res just a bait? Are they prepared for this? He's holding it still, and here we go. The double chow, utilizing some of the util to swing through pretty quickly. Doesn't get really much damage on. The BKF still winning this engagement. Even as the drone explodes, it doesn't do much. And still, WKF are holding their own. And Satoka's just going to roll up as a solo and hope and pray that in the last 40 seconds, he can find a kill.
Well, definitely has the opportunity available to him. It's all going to come down to just timing it to perfection. But so far, things are looking pretty tough on the side here of EG as they've been traded down to a 2-piece. WKF, though, is still keeping up the pace. Oh, wow. Zygoda has been spotted out quickly, falling back into hard cover. And unfortunately, he can only do so much. Down they go now. WKF has the opportunity to try and clear this one out because EG is on the ropes.
10 seconds with the last 10. What can you get? Looks like maybe one more. Yes, Kako is down. That's a big pickup in the final seconds of the map. Team Nadeshot find a couple kills. They are also the only team to extract one player. We saw that in the camera box down to the bottom right while all the action was happening in the admin. Team Nadeshot do sneak a player out. But WKF, absolutely the biggest winners. I think they had a total of 6 kills on the map, folks. That is 4.8 mil in total value, let alone the 6 points that they just straight up gives you in the kill point category, which equals our squad points. Those 6 kills will do wonders for them to be at the top of the leaderboard by a large margin, with likely Team Nadeshot behind. Very interesting match. And yes, no, what ended up being 7 total kills that they picked up for WK Forever. Top team on the map with 7 is a great start for this roster. A roster that, again, DK, you highlighted so well, desperately needs these points. They are starting out with a bang.
Yep, I mean, they brought quite a bit of those fireworks with them. As you can see, 7 kills going their way, so they are going to be smiling big today. You can see Nadeshot coming in hot right behind them with those 3 kills as well. But it is going to be Crab, though, walking away with 4 of the 7. So a very big contribution coming through here from the side of WKF. You can see C-Bonds also in there with their play as well, too. Right next to Smile, all the way from Team Nadeshot. But when it comes to the damage, it's WKF, right? WK Forever, they just locking this one down forever on the first round. So a really good play from them.
Yeah, I mean, again, you got to remember where they came from. They rotated all the way up the north side of the map, barracks all the way over. They worked their way for the airdrop. They saw the airdrop. It was out in the open. They couldn't really do anything about it. So they go, you know what? We're being held by Team Liquid inside. Let's get inside and chow them. They drone. They see that they have a free rotation. They take it. They get inside. They wipe Team Liquid. And then everybody else swarmed to admin. And WKF were the last team standing. I mean, really impressive stuff from them. But in terms of asset earners, Chris was the only player to actually get out of the map, picking up 1.6 million there. It won't get you a point, but it will give you plenty of loot value to be able to use to build out a nice kit for our first Mantle Brick round in the next map. So a good job there from Team Nadeshot, and it does look like Boy had some solid stuff in his safe box as well. But Crab, our top player, picking up 4 of the 7 for his team. Well earned from WKF. Needed to show up big today, and they're starting out hot. Let's see if they can keep up the momentum, DK. What a wild and weird Zero Dan map. we saw only the second airdrop get looted. Nobody has an AWM or an M82. It's one of the first times I've not seen that first airdrop. It was contested, but nobody was able to get anything out of it because they were more focused on getting their kills. So very interesting kickoff to day 1 here of week 2.
Yep, you know what's also interesting? If you head over to the playdeltaforce.com website and download the game, it's available on so many different platforms, so be sure to get your hands on it. If you've not done so already, you could also go follow us on all the social media platforms, and hopefully you're watching us on one of those, right? We're streaming all over the place, so there's going to be a lot to look forward to. And of course, Goj, we first have to step into our first break of the day.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and NT getting a little solo. Hang on a second, NL. Look at that, it's an absolute sweat. This, and LG's got it, though. They're here, lines them up, even through the shot, you're nuts. For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Helm's gonna be hopping off that.
For some, success is measured by bodies in bags. Maybe that suits them. But to me, it's measured in hearts that keep beating. You with me?
The enemy got the mantle bricks. Find it. Stop them. Mantle bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first hit to bring up the tournament, and they're going to do it!
What goes around, comes around.
Oh, I'm not going to do very much. When you get barrel stuff, Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
That knocked them off their feet.
There we go! Much damage, and there it is.
Welcome back, Delta Force Rise Series. It's week 2, day 1. It's groups B and D for the Americas region, and WKF, bottom of the leaderboard in group standings after last week, top of the leaderboard today after game 1. Now, it was just an eco round, but they certainly earned a ton of cash. Let's take a look at those leaderboards and see how much cash, because my goodness, woo, they picked up 4 supply points from all that cash they got from getting those kills here, DK. But they got 7 kills, so added together 11 total points. dwarfs everybody else besides Team Nadeshot, who did end up picking up 7. What a start for these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, they turned that eco round into an ego round, right? So they just demolish everybody. But that's the exact thing that I feel the team starting off today at the bottom of the leaderboard needs to do coming into the next day, right? Play like this. Continue doing this. I want to see W just continuing to bring absolute brutality onto the field, because as we know, stepping into round number next, that is where we are going to be starting to color in those lovely Mandel brick sections as well. So I think Team Nadeshot, they are going to be super amped about this, because as I've already mentioned, last week they got a free Mandel brick in round number 2. But I don't think the teams are going to let that one slide, right? I think the teams are going to look to bring in quite a bit of that pressure as quickly as they can. But last time we saw Nadeshot and Team Liquid stepping onto the field, we did see Team Nadeshot take out Team Liquid very, very quickly. So yeah, I'm expecting a bit of a comeback story potentially, maybe from Team Liquid here.
Yeah, definitely Team Liquid needs some revenge. I mean, they had a very frustrating start. They did end up picking up 1 kill in that engagement, WK getting the full, but otherwise, they didn't really get anything else in that map. So losing their Kira, losing a decent bit of value. They're pretty low on the leaderboard still. Yes, technically in 3rd, but 3 points compared to 11 is a gigantic difference. Gonna need to make it up here in Brakkesh. But of course, those points only matter if you don't have mana bricks or you're tied in mana bricks. So we will have a team definitively at the top after this next round. Now, again, Brakkesh, if you haven't watched in a little while with the Delta Force Rise series, Brakkesh is a map with every operator still on the board, except I guess Team Liquid ran double D-Wolf. So you won't see a D-Wolf from Team Liquid unless we go to Game 7. But with every operator on the board, Brakkesh is a map that not only has a mana brick, but it also has an airdrop. And so because of that, there's a lot of objectives to play for. You oftentimes see operators like Oluru, operators like Morse, Gizmo, you can see right here as popular operators on the map. But another one that was surprisingly not on this graphic, it should be here. No, still it's just these 3. I would say probably the 4th is Raptor. A lot of these teams like to go ahead and invest both their Raptors in the first 2 rounds to get that extra intel. But DK, talk to me about spawns. It does look like Team Liquid and BTH did pick up the 2 T1 spawns in Zero Dam.
Yeah, as we can see, it is going to be restricted to both those teams. They won't be getting those T1 spawns coming into round number 2. That is, of course, opening up to the rest of the lobby, right? So they now have the opportunity to potentially spawn in those T1s. And of course, you want to get that T1. That is going to get you that quick access to the Mandel brick.
Yeah, tier 1 spawn can be very valuable, but folks, yes, it might be valuable. It doesn't mean you're going to get the Mandel brick assuredly. Now, before we jump into round 2, guess what? Our players are looking for some extra rewards on the map. They're trying to get their loot up, and we've got another giveaway for you. You can see the screen right now. Redeemable code to unlock the SR3M Combat Ready. Go get it right now. Type in this code. You can do it in-game or on the official website. It is first come, first serve. Type it in ASAP. All of these activations for this code are limited, so you may run out. You might type it in and it says, well, they've already all been used. That's the exact language. If they've all been used, you won't get anything. Go get your SR3M Combat Ready skin right now. Very cool look for the SR3M, and I'm excited for you. Hopefully you type it in fast enough, because that is a somewhat confusing code. So you've got to be quick on the draw and also tapped in. But speaking of tapped in, let's tap into round number 2. Brakkesh, it's Mana Bricks. Let's get it on.
Yes, sir. Ooh. FaZe and Team Nadeshot starting us off with that T1 spawn. So that is going to be a really good start for both teams. You can see already they are just full setting it up into Museum. Meanwhile, BTH though going for a very wide wrap around the north there. WKF also wide, but Team Liquid and the Evil Geniuses getting it ready for potential altercation right there up in Tower of Babel.
Yeah, that's definitely the 2 hot spots. Tower Bubble is one of those weird spots on the map where oftentimes it's certainly the best loot on the map, but many teams will leave it immediately to come play for the mana brick, because again, the mana brick's the most important part. But some teams will elect to stay, turn up all that loot, and hope somebody else steals the brick away so that they can get there late to the party. But here's the spawn. We take a quick look at our operator choices across the board. It's pretty much exactly what we thought. We see a couple teams still running their Raptors. We do see a lot of those most popular operators, a lot of engineers this time around to help zone off some of these positions where the decoding stations are. And Mr. Diogod, He's going for the old snake in the grass play. If you just keep slithering along, nobody's going to know you're there. What they don't know is that nobody's really even looking at the brick. Team Nadeshot's trying to, but they're also trying not to scam. So if they overcommit on a look here and go down, that would be a free brick for somebody else. Team Nadeshot, with that tier 1 spawn, going to get the power position inside. Going to make FaZe think twice about grabbing this brick.
Yep. At least we are going to be seeing a little bit of a back and forth coming through on this side.
Oh.
It's going to be DioGod to get his hands on it first. So Slept just missed out on that opportunity, but it is a great start here for FaZe. We did see all that dancing coming through from DioGod before we got into the action here today. Now currently absolutely locked, and you can see the focus on his face. He's just scanning those windows, looking for any potential opportunities. Meanwhile, Team Nadeshot, they're just keeping their ears open, right? Scanning the area, making sure that they can figure out exactly how to try and move through here. So it is going to be a little bit of a back and forth, I think, at least for the time being, between both these teams.
Yeah, interesting play from Team Nadeshot. They feel very content to let the mana brick go to another team because they're holding the museum decoding station. They know that this FaZe roster can't get inside, so they need to go somewhere else. Now, if you look top middle, you see that 5-minute timer is already down to 4 to get it to a decoding station. And their first airdrop will start to descend here in about 60 seconds. So a lot to still play for on the map. Of course, we're paying attention to these two teams. The rest of the teams taking their time. Some are actually relaxed on some of the decoding stations, hoping that whoever grabbed the brick comes to them and they get a free pick and a free start of the decode once they get the wipe. Right now, FaZe is content to sit here in cat and mouse game with Team Nadeshot. Not interested in running it anywhere else.
Let's see what happens as Team Nadeshot now goes about their business here. Go for a little bit of loot, right? Because this is still an eco round. So let's see whether or not they'll be able to find themselves a little bit of something. That protein powder can work out quite well, right? If you want to build some muscle, but you need to try and build economy, so it's not going to be worth all that much. And it does seem like it is pretty slim pickings, at least for the time being. We've not really seen any reds stepping up onto the screen just yet. Of course, it does sound like we have that attack helicopter coming out as well, so that is going to make things a little bit more challenging for the teams. Indeed, about the reds, here they come. As you can see, everything now starting to be picked on up. You have a few of those Morse ults now getting played as well, just trying to gather as much information as they can. But I don't know if FaZe has been able to figure out exactly where Team Nadeshot is.
Here's a look at BTH, who just pulled some nice reds. Here's a look at the map. So this is what I really wanted to see. You can see that WKF has actually been camping this Brakkesh decoding station up here in top middle. And then you see that Evil Geniuses said, okay, well, if they're not going to go up to market, they're going to go over to camp, which is where we want to be. Also, the airdrops here. So we kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Then Team Nadeshot's like, well, if they go inside the museum, we've been sitting here and they know that. So where does FaZe go? Currently nowhere. They have sat in the building that they've been holding since they grabbed the mana brick for now over 3 minutes. The 5-minute timer once it's picked up, and everybody's confused. They're like, where is, like, what's going on? They know where the brick is, but they're just waiting for that brick to move, and it hasn't moved an inch.
Yeah, interesting tactic going through here from them. Let's see whether or not DioGod is gonna get this ball rolling. I mean, I think the downside here for FaZe is they've given all the other teams across the map so much opportunity to get set up on these decoding stations. So essentially, they've kind of dug a hole for themselves, right? So this is going to be quite a bit of a challenge. Let's see if they can get that entry successfully. They have to do so. They've got just over a minute left on the clock before that mantle brick goes right back to where it came from. And here comes the hits now.
Snows with a sneaky play through the window on the other side. He's able to grab the ledge, jump up on that ledge, peek through the window, and catch Team Nadeshot by surprise. Now what does FaZe do? They engage over at Museum, and then they swing over to a decoding station that they checked. They looked over here with their Raptor and said, nope, there's nobody over there. Nobody's camping this one. Let's swing over to the western side of the map, just outside of Museum, and go ahead and put it in. We're running out of daylight before that thing respawns. We don't have to go for that play again. So Good job from FaZe to kick things off. 4 minutes on the clock and counting, while the rest of the teams either engage with each other or come play for the steal. And currently, it looks like WKF, yet again, trying to be some of the first to the table with a kill under their belt.
Well, we see a few of those Gizmo plays coming out as well, but the trades are being had in both directions. WKF and Evil Geniuses now find themselves in a bit of a preemptive standoff here. Both teams trying to do a little bit of something. As you can see, Arctic Grenard trying to find that angle. Quickly has to fall back, get those armors all patched up again. But meanwhile, FaZe, they've moved their way over onto the decoding station, as you've mentioned here, Goj. And I mean, it doesn't seem like anybody, at least not for the time being, is going to look to contest FaZe, right? They are pretty much focused in on each other. And Team Nadeshot, they're starting to scan with their Allura rocket, but they're not gathering any info. They have no intel as to where FaZe went.
They've got to assume they're over at the decoding station where the brick is at, but they don't know exactly where they're positioned around it necessarily. So we do see that Evil Geniuses, they held off the advances of WKF. And why were they trying to play the south side of that? Well, one, we knew which direction Evil Geniuses wanted to hold because of where WKF likely wants to go, which is towards the brick. But also, guess what was in the street? An AWM inside of the airdrop. A big pickup for a guy like Muamua, who rarely misses. Really strong player, and the AWM very valuable. On a map like this, not a lot of time left on the decoding station. Maybe worth trying to make a move with that sniper. You only pick up 5 bullets, but maybe one-shotting people all over the map, as it looks like El Snows says, yeah, go ahead and cross the street. See what happens when you do.
So far, pretty good defensive angle being held here by the side of FaZe, as they will get tested on up. Now it is going to be Team Nadeshot and the Evil Geniuses finding themselves in a bit of an altercation. I'm curious to see what Team Liquid is going to do, as we do see a very far rotation going through on that southern side as well. Quick few trades coming in here, as we do see Team Nadeshot already 1 play down. They are left now with Crisp and, of course, Slept, looking to see if they can defend this position, but it is going to be a really tough one to pull off successfully.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best case scenario for FaZe. Team Nadeshot were trying to slowly work their way up the south side of the decoding station, and while they were doing that, they get shot in the back and have to fight against Evil Geniuses now in a 2v3. So FaZe is going to sit here and go, really? Nobody's coming for us? Not yet? Okay, it's not going to be south. What if we check the north side? It'd be a smart move here from DioGod, starting to get some intel and some ideas that, yep, absolutely, we got a party on the north. And over there on the south, Team Nadeshot still deeply in trouble. Chris goes down as well, so Evil Geniuses should get the better of their opponents on the south side and show up eventually with a full team wipe, but it may just be too late. DioGod losing a bit of health because he just wasn't too careful. Really trying to contest this northern side, and appears like Gizmo, even Raptor. This utility can be extremely oppressive, especially when it's a multi-team fight, and that's exactly what it's about to be. Look at Evil Geniuses coming in the south side. Snows is going to sit to decode. He wants to make sure that if anybody goes for the steal, he's going to be there with the gun in hand. 20 seconds on the clock. We were running out of daylight, and Evil Geniuses feel the pressure. Here goes Loco. Got nice damage on DioGod, and actually able to get DioGod with some util and the gun over the top, and now he's going to make a play for the brick. He's got to know that there's people here. They got to barrel stuff their opponents. Remember, you can wipe the team. If Sudoku goes down here, the timer will pause. Evil Geniuses, they just steal it right under their noses. And down goes FaZe. Evil Geniuses, all 3 up. And the brick currently decoding for them. Very well done to strike FaZe when the iron was hot.
I mean, absolutely, the big brain strategies coming through here from them. That is our first squad getting wiped on down. Now it's up to the rest of the lobby to see who's going to be the one to walk away with that decoding successfully secured, as we do see Evil Genius is now looking to lock it in. WKF not too far away from it either, so there could be quite a bit of that chain fighting starting to happen very, very soon. Meanwhile, Team Liquid, they're just making sure that they can clean up Team Nadeshot. And we did see that last week, right? Team Nadeshot, Team Liquid, finding each other in engagements time and time again, and it seems like this week it is going to continue between those 2 squads. But WKF, though, the team to watch here, as they got a big W in round number 1. Can they secure that second W right here on game number 2 as well?
Evil Geniuses currently decoding. WKF technically in the best position to make a move for the brick, but unfortunately they're getting sandwiched right now, so I'd say it was the best position in terms of just proximity, but an awful position to be in, trapped between 2 really strong teams. For WKF to get out of this one, they need some help. What's the help going to be? Well, it's going to be a push from the southern side to get Evil Geniuses off their back. Here comes Team Liquid, Mindo, Boy, Hodzic. Swinging up the south side, completely uncontested right now with Team Nadeshot mostly out of the picture. Just slept as a solo, trying to stay alive. Team Liquid now in a prime position to cause some havoc for Evil Geniuses.
Well, so far, so good. I like where the havoc is going to be going, but meanwhile, it's still WKF trying to lock it down here. Ooh, BTH quickly being put on a back foot, absolute pinpoint accuracy, but now all the recon being used destructively as it is going to be sending its way straight over towards BTH. I like the play. Scrap getting head off the head, finding the first player, but now can he follow through and get that full wipeout?
And again, this fight is great news for Evil Geniuses. It's keeping the North completely contested. They're all fighting each other so that they only have to shift their focus over here to Team Liquid. Team Liquid not able to make a move right now. There's Muamuo and everybody else on this roster looking this direction. Of course, checking the North, but they hear the shots going down. They know that there's a big fight happening. We've got to fight around the decoding station. And right now, WKF are just hunting PTH. They're picking up 2. You'd think they just got to turn and come back and play for the brick, and that's exactly what they're doing. Here comes WKF. Took a little too long, and Team Liquid waited on their opponents to help them out. They don't know exactly where they are, but with the timer going low, they've got to assume somebody's pushing from the north, and they would assume correctly.
Well, now it's all going to be down to how they can hold down this position here. I mean, this is a pretty tough position to be in, right? We got BTH, we got WKF, we got Evil Geniuses, and Team Liquid as Mendo and Go now starts to flow on forward. They do find the first few trades, the first few openers, and this is EG in trouble.
Whoa. That's 2 down. The third down below. Loco in trouble. Reminding this timer stops if Loco dies. He's got to stay alive. That's the only thing he cares about. 8 seconds on the clock. And 5. Can they get him? Yes, they get him. The timer pauses, but Hodzic was there for the steal regardless. Team Liquid wipe Evil Geniuses and have a redemption arc here in game 2 as one of our last teams alive and in control of the brick. They should get their res as well. BTH do pick up their reses, and WKF continue to lick their wounds closest to the brick, but yet to actually get their hands on it.
Well, that's not going to stop anytime soon here, as we still have quite a few teams looking to contest that decode. Team Liquid, they have possession for now. The clock is ticking, though. You can see just under 2.5 minutes left on the clock, and the round is going to be over in under 4. So whatever needs to happen has to happen very, very soon. You can see Hodzic also just scanning the area, making sure that there's no surprises coming through, is able to ping a few of the players. So that tells Team Liquid exactly what they need to know moving forward and doubling down the defensive.
Only a little less than 4 minutes on the overall clock. We've got a long timer still in this decoding station, but a nice find from distance. Slept, making sure his presence is felt on the map. He really likes to get that confirmed if he can. He's going to repeat this to make sure that it happens, but Boy's actually down below. Might be able to pick Mindo up here. Slept might kind of full send for this if he can to make sure Mindo stays down. No, not going to be able to find the angle. What a bummer for Team Nadeshot. That extra point could do wonders for their overall leaderboard, but Slept still on the map. Problem is our timers right now. It's a 3-minute clock. These steals, if they can continue to happen, could put us to a point where nobody gets the brick. We're not careful, and WKF feels that. They're going to put the pressure on. They're going to barrel stuff their opponents. No, yes, Crab gets it. Crab has been the hero for this roster thus far in the first 2 games. Is continuing to be so, and now he's going to go huge. Boy, getting really aggressive over the top, and I guess we don't hear that because there's too much util on the map as a solo. Boy, able to take down at least one member of the duo of WKF, and it's a 1v1 with a minute on the clock for the steal. Yes, Pecky could just... yeah, he's just going to sit this. 2.5 seconds is all it takes to grab the steal, and he's able to do just that. Resetting the clock. Look at this. Top of the screen. 220, 222. Pecky is the only player that can get this brick unless Team Liquid go for a steal right here in the next 10 seconds. It will reset to 2 minutes. That is likely not going to happen. There is a high likelihood in a 1v1v2 that no one gets the brick. And if I'm a team like Team Nadeshot, that's exactly what I would like, as I've been a solo for a very long time. Oh, my goodness.
Becky just locking in the sprays here, picking up Mendo as well, and this is now evening out that board. As you can see, Team Liquid, Team Nadeshot, and W Key Forever all sitting on one player apiece as Mendo is about to be brought back into the fight. Of course, that attack helicopter is going absolutely crazy up top, but this could be a big old steal coming through there from the side of Team Nadeshot, as we do see Slep now just trying to creep closer and closer to the position. Is he going to play his cards? I don't think so just yet, but Mendo still trying frantically to do something.
So this is such a weird interaction. We don't see this that often, but Pecky's running for the extract. He's getting the heck out of here. He knows that there's two of them and only one of him, and he would have to wipe both of them and keep the brick. Team Nadeshot, Slep's going to get here and get the steal, but he won't get the brick. Look at the timers. It's 60 seconds on the game clock, 2 minutes on the decoding. Nobody's getting the brick in round 2. This does not happen very often, and now Slep wants a little bit more. That's some extra cash because he got the steal. You get a little bit of money just for getting the steal, so well worth it. And with the help of the attack helicopter over the top as the boss is getting active on the map, Slep just going for kills. It's 38 seconds. There's nothing to lose. You're not getting out. He's able to get it. One. Can he get both? Slep, Team Nadeshot pick up a 2-piece, and down go Team Liquid. Nice play at the end as WKF do send their third out of the map, protecting whatever loot that they were able to grab in the meantime, which looks like not very much.
Yeah, I mean, insane strategy coming through here from Team Nadeshot. Turns out that surprise definitely was gonna happen, and now it's all down to how much Slipped can get into his bag before that clock runs out. He is literally chasing the Sandman here, but unfortunately that is going to be all she wrote as round comes to an end. Slept is going to be the one to survive it all, but now it comes down to how much loot everybody was able to back on up here and actually get into those 3x3s, as well as the aggression. There was a whole lot of it coming through right here at the end.
Yeah, it's certainly at the end. It was a little bit of a slow start yet again. FaZe had that very interesting play to kind of just snake in the grass, slither around the man brick until they were able to grab it. Once they grabbed it, though, they had no idea where to go, and that indecision caused them to just kind of force something on the west side, thinking, well, I guess there's nobody over here. Let's play for this decoding station. It's not a bad one, certainly, but they didn't really have any power positions. But Evil Geniuses technically picked up the best team, as they did pick up 5 kill points, and that's going to be a ton of value for them considering nobody got a Manda brick. It's going to be all up to the overall kill points, supply points, and therefore total squad points to determine who's at the top of the leaderboard. And Evil Genius is now in a pretty good spot, as they weren't horribly too far down the leaderboard. They pick up another 5. They're going to be in a pretty good spot on our overall is my expectation. But DK, anything else you're seeing? I mean, not a ton of loot to go around. The only player to get out of the map was Pecky.
Yeah, indeed, he was the only one to make his way out of here. But yeah, Team Liquid super aggressive here as well, also securing themselves those 5 eliminations. And of course, this is how all the teams got to those elims. It was WKF Crab again with the hits coming through with the 4. You can see Loco and Slept also doing an absolutely phenomenal job there for their squads. And they're going to be quite happy with that, right? Because as we know, each elimination counts as a point. So it will definitely help when it comes down to those tiebreakers. And of course, no surprise to see Mendo, Mumu, and Crab sitting right here where they are with regards to the damage. They've been absolutely relentless. So many chain fights breaking out around that Mandel brick, looking to see who can steal it. But of course, Hardsick, Mendo, and Peiki also bring in quite a bit of a contribution here for their respective teams, right? Team Liquid just doing so much here, but it is going to come down to those asset owners, as you mentioned it, right? Peiki being the only one that was able to extract, the only player to get some of that very valuable loot out of here, seeing that it was still an eco round.
Yeah, it was an eager, and I guess in the sense that you want to get your money up, I think kills would do better for you, though. I question the decision to not just play for the 1v2. Like, what did you have to lose? What did you have on you that you needed to get out of the lobby? It didn't look like a lot. It was like $500,000, but Crab was our MVP, picking up 4 kills for WKF yet again. This is the team that dominated in the first round, so to see them dominate again, just in terms of raw kills on the map, at the behest of this man right here, they're going to likely stay at the top of the leaderboard with everybody else slowly trying to catch them, and with nobody getting a brick, it's a solid play. But I go back to that moment. Pecky puts the brick in the decoding station. There's literally a 2-second difference between the game clock and that decoding station timer for the mana brick. why not just play 1v2? I mean, you wait a second. You wait when you die, you know it's going to reset to 2 minutes. And so you wait until after the 2-minute timer, because if you die, then okay, no worries. Nobody gets the brick. But why not just play for the kills? You protected 500k. If you just got one of those kills, that's 800k and a kill point. Man, I'm questioning everything. I want to get into the minds of these players, but there's so much more to learn as well. Folks, we're going to head to a very short break. When we come back, it's going to be game number 3. This is truly an eco round. We're going to Tide Prison. It's going to get sneaky.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little... So hang on a second, NL! Look at that! It's an absolute sweat! This... And LG's gotta know that they're here. Lines them up, even through the shot. You're nuts! For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Elm's gonna be hopping off that.
Got the mantle bricks. Find it. Stop them. Mantle bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first hit to break up the tournament, and they're going to do it!
What goes around, comes around.
I'm not going to do very much, though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
That knocked them off their feet.
There we go! There it is.
Welcome back, Delta Force Rise Series Week 2, Day 1. It's groups B and D here in Americas, and we just had a mantle brick round where nobody got a mantle brick. It was hotly contested, but it took forever to get to the decoding station, so we just ran out of time, man. Too many steals, and at the end of the day, came down to a solo from Team Nadeshot. Slep picking up a 2-piece, which will push them into 2nd place. Now is 6 kill points and 5 total supply points. Well done to Slep, making a bad situation into a pretty good one, frankly, winning out the map. Now 11 points with Team Liquid hot on their heels.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to do as much as they can here. And of course, as we know, we're going into our final eco round. This is where things could also still take quite a bit of a change, as we are going to be looking at a lot of that aggression. As you said, also very fittingly, right? It is going to be a very sneaky play coming through up into Tide Prison as we look to get the team set up for that Space City Rumble that is coming in pretty hot. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how the teams are going to change it up, especially looking at the available operators they have right here for round number 3.
Yeah, as we talk about round number 3 in Tide Prison, we always say the exact same thing. So we'll repeat ourselves a little bit today. You're going to see double Noxes. You're going to see Hat Claws, okay? You're going to see all the sneaky operators because Tide Prison is what I call a sneaky map. There's a lot of corridors, a lot of close spaces, and verticality inside that forces these teams to play a lot more, as the public players say, a lot more ratty. You've got to play a little ratty, catch your opponents by surprise, and hopefully find yourself some kills. This is a true eco round. There's no mana bricks. It's our last map without a mana brick. So as we take a look at some of the most popular operators, we oftentimes talk about Nox as being that heavy hitter. But what is a counter to Nox? Morse. So Morse has entered into the meta for this map as well. And Shepard is just an all-around solid engineering option for a map like this, especially with those sonic traps to hopefully win you some of those close quarters engagements.
Yeah, I think also if you bring his ulti into play, that also just really helps upset quite a few people. And as I think Tide Prison rather is the perfect map to do that on. So yeah, looking at our spawns here, of course, we did see the players there from Nadeshot and FaZe getting those T1 spawns in the first run. So moving into round number 3. It's going to be free reign for everybody else to see if they can maybe get their hands on those very sought-after spawn locations.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. I say this all the time. If you're a team that prioritizes mana bricks and then therefore prioritizing the win, which I would say that most teams do, or every team should, maybe is a good way to put it, you actually don't want the tier 1 spawns on Tide Prison because the only rule with spawns is that you can't get tier 1 spawns back to back. So if you get a tier 1 spawn here on Tide Prison, which is an eco round, you won't have a tier 1 spawn going into our first Space City map where there is a Mandel brick. So that's kind of the age-old quandary. It's like, yes, tier 1 spawns are nice, even on a map like Tide Prison, but this is the one map where maybe you wouldn't want one. And so you can see that FaZe Clan and Team Nadeshot picking up a tier 1 spawn in Brakkesh is actually good news because they can't get the tier 1 spawn in Tide Prison. It goes both ways. So fun little adage there. But in general for Tide Prison, there's several goals. One, go get your kills, okay? I know it's going to play slow. I know it's going to play a little ratty, but you've got to put some kill points on the board. Why is WKF so far ahead of everybody else? They're outslaying the lobby right now, and it's well earned. So good job, gentlemen, at the top. Let's see if anybody can catch them on this map. But the other thing to play for is that, well, one, we didn't get an AWM in map 1, so the only team that was able to grab one was Evil Geniuses in map 2, but they died on the map. And I don't think anybody got out with it. Maybe that's why Pecky was able to grab some loot and then leave. But I didn't see him pick up the AWM. I didn't see him pick up any of that Lapuo ammo. So I have a feeling there is still not a single high caliber weapon on the map right now. And Tide Prison is your last chance to get one. You can go up to the GTI supply mission here on Tide Prison and get that either M82 or AWM Lapua ammo. So if you're able to get that, could be a difference maker on Space City. And of course, there is also an airdrop with some red loot that'll fall out of the sky.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what it is that we were just that Lord was trying to describe to us over there. Really interesting to look at what these players are doing. But of course, what's also going to be more interesting is us hopping straight into the action here for round number 3. You've been hyping it up quite a bit here, Goj. Let's see whether or not the teams can now live up to that hype. As there's going to be quite a bit up for grabs. And of course, we're going to get to see who gets those early T1 spawns. And of course, who potentially could then get those T1 spawns coming into the next map.
That's exactly right. Tide Prison. It's nuanced. It's different. I like the change of pace. Kind of resets the game almost. Resets the match with the way it plays. We've seen some teams, especially a team like Spacestation Gaming, really pop off on a map like this. And hey, some of our best highlights from day 3 last week were from FaZe. So let's see if they can repeat history as they do pull a northern spawn and should be engaging with Team Nadeshot here shortly if they elect to do so. Down in the south, you're going to see Evil Geniuses sprint down towards Warden's. Going to be playing for Team Liquid potentially, while BTH and WKF still analyze their positions and just try to loot up with what they can. But the first big bang out's going to be Team Liquid and Evil Geniuses, it looks like, as both have sprinted to what is a power position on the map, trying to play for this mission.
Well, let's see who's going to get their hands on it. Mumu is going to start things off here with a quick cheeky play. Unfortunately, shooting at the door doesn't do all too much. You're going to have to go through it to get the ball rolling here. As you can see, Mumu just super committed to getting through this entryway. But already, it is going to be Team Liquid just waiting on the other side. So it is going to be very, very hard fought But Hardsick, I like the setup, gathering some decent information here, trying to see if he can get that angle in over on towards the Geniuses, and up comes the sprays, nothing connecting just yet, but the heat is now just backing on.
A big engagement early. This is one of the fastest breakouts we've seen in Tide Prison. Evil Genius is deeply in trouble, but they're able to trade it back and forth. Loco's going huge from the backside. In a 1v2, turn to a 1v1 with player advantage, with health advantage. Just sticks it in and almost scams mantling over the desk, but gets the win. Evil Geniuses and Loco on the back line as Nox able to get the win over Team Liquid. What a start to Tide Prison. My goodness. Didn't even get a chance to talk about the operators because we had a big fight in our hands. But DK, as much as I like to hype up Hacklaw, we don't see a single Hacklaw on this map, which means I'm just a little bit behind on the meta. We saw the metas on screen. Shepard, you're seeing that often. See Morris quite a bit. Double Nox at the top for BTH. I also see a Luna. Is that right? For Evil Geniuses? Okay.
Yeah. I think it ties in with their name, right? I mean, they're trying to test something out, I guess, coming into the Luna on a map as tight as this. It is going to be an interesting play, but yeah, I mean, Lord Joko can listen to a few songs now, a few of those records, as he can put them up and just enjoy the tunes that are going to be banging through over on that end. But just as we saw those early and quick engagements coming through, this is where things now start to cool down a little bit, at least just temporarily, right? As the squads now find themselves with a lot more space in between themselves. I say that, and then of course FaZe, WKF, and Team Nadeshot, they are just up close and almost a little bit impersonal up towards that northwestern side.
Yeah, interesting to say the least. Two teams fighting over that GTI supply mission. Evil Geniuses on the back of Loco are going to be able to grab it here in about 2 minutes. You see that mission is what we're talking about. Top middle, you can see it counting down. That's how you get your AWM or your M82. Airdrop that's preparing is how you get the reds, hopefully reds, and some golds. These days, that second airdrop is not that valuable with some of the more recent rules changes. But if you get lucky enough, still worth your time. Pulling a sonograph and picking up 2 mil almost in loot value now as BTH finds himself at 2.6. RNG going your way. You still can find some points. Evil Geniuses with the most certainly now at 3 mil after their team wipe that they just picked up. So kills are the most important thing on the map right now.
It's all about who is going to be the next one to get their hands a little bit of that action. I like the movements coming through from WKF. They making FaZe just kind of wonder a little bit as to what exactly is going on, because you were talking about the verticality coming into play here, and we can see quite of that now being evident right here as Dude quickly steps up and deals with a few of those scavs as we are looking onto a beautiful open safe there. I hope they got all the loot out of that, but now it is going to be send as Evil Geniuses is making sure there's nobody here to contest him as they start to head a little bit more over towards that western side. Meanwhile, FaZe, though, they've just been super quiet here, and I mean, I kind of understand it, right? You said it is going to be a lot more of that rat play coming to the forefront here as the teams are going to be looking to step on up. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting play as soon as these teams really start to engage with each other.
Here's a look at that map feed that we were talking about. Evil Genius is down in the south, not truly alone as BTH is creeping their direction, maybe looking to play for his mission. They're going to be late if they are. And over on the top side, FaZe, technically in a bit of a sandwich between WKF and Team Nadeshot, but Crisp is pushed way up. And again, this map doesn't really show us that verticality that you know is on the north side of the map. So plenty of room for all of these teams as the rest of the folks are just looting up. Evil Genius is able to find a little 223K. We'll take what we can get. Again, when you look at the left side of the profits, this is just loot that they're able to pick up on the map and value they're able to find. Every 2 million as a point. So 3.5 is still only 1 point. But 4 million, another 500K, would put them at 2 points. And those points desperately matter. We're opening some safes. We're getting some loot. Evil Geniuses should walk out as the highest earning team on the map if they can just stay alive at this point with what they've been able to find.
But an interesting shift in the dynamic going through from BTH. Like last week, they just sent it so hard over on towards MW, right? And I mean, this week, looking at the pacing that they're bringing in, they've just really dialed back that aggression. They are playing a lot more passively currently from what we've seen them do in the past. But they might have a strategy at hand here. As you can see, the Evil Geniuses are going to be escorting the player through here, as Warden is going to be going for his stroll about. The BTH, though, coming in very, very passively. They might have a big brain strategy here, as this might have been the play all along, right? Get themselves situated, wait for EG to come past them, and then just rip into the side of them.
Little ratty play goes a long way on a map like Tide Prison. For now, the rats lie in wait, hoping no one sees them like rats do. Evil Genius is the only team really moving right now. And to clear a pathway out of here. Push through, complete the mission. Clear out some NPCs. Loco is like, now why didn't I kill that guy? Oh yeah, let's keep moving.
A lot of slow pacing coming through here. You can see Evil Geniuses, they know that there's a snake in the grass somewhere. They're trying to get those angles secured. They do find a bit of an indication over onto its dude. As Loco now gets ready for the full send here.
All right, getting aggressive. Articuno can't see anything, but doesn't need to. Let's just throw bullets down range. It connects, gets one low. He's able to clean it up when he can see. Ka, yet again, running away for BTH. Left alone. He's not the only player on the team alive, but he is alone. This is bad news, because Evil Geniuses are on their way. They've got blood in the water. They're not going to let their prey escape. Koch is hoping he can get a trade here until his teammate can meet up with him and potentially pinch this. Not sure if that'll happen or not, but they're going to certainly try. Articuno, barrel stuff down. See you later. Nice and easy. And their third, BTH, Lord Jakao, is out of here. He's like, I can't win a 1v3 against this team. Now what? Hide in the corner. Try to trade one. I don't know, but the Wardens are fighting. You can hear it off in the distance. As Evil Geniuses, they do have a mission they need to do here shortly, but they want to make sure they don't get shot doing it.
A lot of those strategic angles coming through here. Ooh, Bakey, beautiful hit across the way over on towards Team Nadeshot. Is he going to be able to get that position in though, as he is going to be sending it straight on forward? Oh, running in with the sonar, gets the one.
Uh-oh.
Gets the pickup as well. It is going to be the Fishes now having a bit of a swim down below, and this is now up to WKF, just coming in with such an aggressive performance here today. Again, just doubling down, as they do find themselves quite a few opportunities, but unfortunately not going to be able to clean it up here with Team Nadeshot though.
Yeah, saw the sonar device and thought that maybe they were hiding on that ledge there, but nope, they have swum away. They are going to swing all the way around and potentially re-engage, not on the same team, but on the other side of the map. Them swing around maybe towards that airdrop. It lands on the southeast side, basically right in front of where Slept is right now. You can see it on their screen. Could maybe even play for it. Now, Evil Geniuses is going to be on the other side. BTH is over here, but one member of BTH hiding in the corner. So Evil Geniuses is focused on looting those bodies. I think Team Nadeshot might sneak in and grab some loot out of that airdrop and then maybe make a play on Evil Geniuses if they're not careful. Look at this.
Very interesting to see just how the teams are looking to approach everything here. Of course, it is going to be Team Nadeshot going straight up for a little bit of that push here. We do see WKF also getting their hands on a little bit of that coffee. The Reds now starting to find their way onto the screen here as, well, the team's frantically moving up. We do see Loco just playing with that ult, making sure that he goes unnoticed, at least for the time being. But Lord Joko is going to be stepping on through, running straight up into a little bit of that sonic paralysis that makes things a little bit more challenging. Not too easy to play at, but I mean, still Team Nadeshot not really moving up all too much, right? Slep very removed from where Smile currently is, so they're going to have to be very tactful with how they look to play through this one. Meanwhile, it is going to be the side of the Evil Geniuses, just scanning the building, making sure that there is a good safe entry point, but they might look to change their mind here.
Yeah, this is interesting. They allowed Lord Jocko to get all the way back in and go for a res. He actually gets it. So BTH can be back to a duo. Now, they looted him pretty hard, I think, already. So I don't know what Kaw's going to be able to do for BTH. Hopefully, we can find something or can drop him something. But they are back as a duo. And also, Team Nadeshot, they picked up that airdrop. I don't think they pulled a single red out of it. I don't know. The RNG they're getting right now in these airdrops is brutal. I didn't see anything pop up while they were looting it, and we were paying attention to the potential fight here with Evil Geniuses. So, not sure they found a ton of value. Yeah, they're not even at 1 million right now. So, really unlucky there. They got to the airdrop, kind of snuck it, and didn't really get paid too much for it. Mission is still on the map. Needs to be completed by Evil Geniuses, but WKF now joined a fight on the southern side, and I'm not sure Evil Geniuses know that they're there. Maybe they've got at least some intel. Articuno's moving pretty quick. If he overpeaks this, he could be cut down here. WKF, yep, Rats in the corner. They get one. They're not even getting trade, though. One goes down on both sides. Seabot's in trouble. Yes, one. Loco is solo again. Loco gonna have to be a hero. He's been a hero many a time, but both of his teammates pushed to yellow. One of which who's already been there. Evil Genius is in deep trouble. I told you the Rats were in. And WKF doing a great job to execute on that game plan. Well-placed Viral to make sure that Loco can't come in and contest this res. He's going to have to back way off and play as a solo. Brutal for Evil Geniuses. No way.
Uh-oh.
Not a... Oh, what? How? How does Loco win that? A mistake? Perfection? I don't know which way you want to call it, but Loco's alive.
Okay, I'll take the perfection play coming through from Loco. That was an absolutely insane position, almost running himself into a world of pain, but instead is going to be the one causing all of that. Absolutely beautiful comeback. It just shows you how powerful Nox is on a map like this, right? When you're up close, personal, and you need to get the heck out of dodge at a drop of a hat. Now, it is going to be Car, though, that is going to be sneaking through the prison, looking for a few angles. He might find himself a little bit of that Loco, but in the meantime, his teammate is going to be running lower and lower on that timer. So if he is looking to bring the team back up to 2, he has to shift his focus and try and pull that one off. Meanwhile, Loco is just going to be creeping closer and closer. So Loco could go for a big old cleanup here.
Go for a cleanup the third time. Oh my goodness. I would say somebody get this man a contract, but he's already got one with Evil Geniuses. My goodness, what a pickup for this roster. Loco is going nuclear. 6 kills. Winning 1v1s, winning positions he has no business winning. And he's got more to put out onto the table here. Lay out all your cards, Loco. What else do you have in your bag, my friend? We only have 3 minutes on the clock. We need some more.
Ooh. All right, things about to get interesting yet again as WKF
no way
and Loco are here side by side. We do see the players there from Team Nadeshot now looking to move in as well, and this is where Loco is going to try and stay absolutely invisible. It's going to be a pretty tall order, not an easy one to accomplish at this point, but maybe it pans out for them. You can see Crab staring down the barrel of the players right there in front of him.
I told you the Rats are in, man. Crab's on like 20% or less, and now Sudoku's getting a bit of revenge on his teammates. Diogod cleaning up C-bots. Smile down below. Team Nadeshot now swinging on WKF, and they're getting traded out. What is happening? FaZe third-partying this engagement, or is it Team Nadeshot? I can't tell, but Loco's trying to get a piece of it. He's down to a single HP and able to heal up, and here comes WKF getting behind the door. Can he win this too? No, finally! He is not infallible, Loco finally falls, but he found so much value on the map. And into the last 2 minutes, we got more engagements at our hands. FaZe going to swing on this engagement here and hopefully take down the last remaining member of Team Nadeshot. Yes, no problem with the trade. Yes, see you later.
Absolute sweats, right? That is what we were hoping for to see happen here on Tide Prison. Now it is going to be up to Peiki to see if he can continue with the absolute carnage that we've been witness to so far. A quick push up the side is going to bring him just that ever much closer. But of course, quick reactions coming through from the side there of FaZe as well. They want to see if they can double down, and Sadoka in a beautiful setup here. They could maybe even bring back their third, and they are now just laying down the defenses. But Peiki on the money though.
Really good shots here to isolate their ones. I don't know if necessarily that was the right challenge from FaZe. DioGod wasn't there to play with them. It's a 2v1. You have to chow that together. Maybe some ego, some confidence, or otherwise, but Pecky makes him pay. WKF continue to find a ton of kills. Well-placed nade, though, from DioGod. It's going to give him a huge advantage in this engagement if he can get there in time. Doesn't always mean you're going to win, and it looks like, oh my gosh. What a bounce from the disc there. Nox, Pecky wins yet again another engagement. WKF. I'm not sure if they're the big winners. I think it might be Evil Geniuses because of Loco's heroics, but they had another great round, picked up several kills in this rep, and they spent the last 60 seconds or so just trying to throw anything in their safe box that they can.
I mean, you got to give it up, though, to Nox. Right, Nox, Tide Prison. It is a match made in heaven, as both players that we've been seeing ripping it up here today, rocking up with those Noxes. Fakey just making sure that everybody knows that he is the only one alive on this map, coming through with the reindeer. Absolutely clutch play from WKF. And I said it before and I'll say it again. I really like what WKF are doing here. They are pressing not only the W key forever, they are pushing everything to its limits here. And that is exactly what we want to see, right? Teams playing for that comeback story. And I think WKF, they're kind of writing that for themselves right here.
Yeah, this is the start they needed in the competition. I said that in Zero Dam, but they had to keep up the pace. And then they finish up in Brakkesh in a pretty good spot as well. And I say that in Brakkesh, and now they got to keep up the pace. They get to another eco round, and they have a banger map. But speaking of a banger map, my goodness, Evil Genius would pick up 8 kills, 1.2 million assets, folks. That is a ton of cash going their way. Every kill point, guess what? Yes, that's a point on the leaderboard, but it's also 800K. That's 6.4 mil from the kills alone, folks. Go for the kills. Evil Geniuses picking up nearly 8 mil in total between all of their resource ads that they will get at the end of the day. And it was on the back of Loco with 6, a gigantic move from them. But man, WKey Forever still picked up 7 kills, only 1 less from Evil Geniuses. Yet again, WKF proving all the haters wrong, man. They can slay out, and they're doing that today, but Loco stands tall at the top with 6 of his own.
Yeah, Loco just being so relaxed, so chill, even amidst all the chaos and carnage that he was creating. He was able to wipe the equivalent of 2 other squads as a solo. Absolute insanity, but of course, no surprise to see that damage being there for Loco and for Peiki, both just absolutely cramming everything that they could find, and a very satisfying Tide Prison coming through here. But of course, our big assist coming through here from the rest of the Evil Geniuses team. As you can see, Articuno, Mumu making sure that Loco can just, well, stay true to his name, right? Go absolutely crazy in this round and just lock it all in. Very strong contributions across the board. But the top assets owners is going to be BTH, Lodge, Jaco, though, coming through with 1.2 mil in the box. And of course, we do see C-Bots as well as Peiki in there as well for WKF. So a pretty strong finish overall for WKF.
Yeah, again, I continue to tip my hat to him, but this man right here put on a show for us, and he put on a show for us last week as well. Loco is one of the top players in the game. He's able to slay out against the best of the best, and he's continuing to prove why he got picked up by this roster. This is a strong team that is still looking for a breakout map, and this was the beginning of potentially their breakout in this match. So this next Mana Brick round, I think, DK, is really going to dictate a lot, because it'll be the first time we see a team with a Mana Brick hopefully going into round number 4. A fun start, folks, and as a quick reminder, you can drop a follow on all major socials here with Delta Force. The Delta Force Rise series is well underway at this point. We got several more weeks to go, so drop a follow on all major socials with our main channels and also our esports channels. There's a lot of info out there about everything you need to know about that Rise series. And those Twitch panels down below, they can take you straight to the Delta Force Rise series website, so you can learn more about this incredible pro league. Folks, we're going to head to a very short break. When we come back, Space City and hopefully our first Mandelbrick going to be joining us on the leaderboard, so you're not going to want to miss it.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little solo. Hang on a second, NL. Look at that, it's an absolute swing. This, and LG's gotta know that they're here. Lines them up, even through the shot, you're nuts. For the last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Elm's gonna be hopping off to that.
Hi, I am El Auditore. I am the CEO of BTH eSports. Delta Force was not part of our plans on BTH eSports, but everything changed when the players gave us the great honor to representing them. It's difficult to remember, but we clearly remember that people were already talking about it constantly on Discord chat servers before we see trailers and content, that things. Okay, Nico, Caja in the game, is the closest person to the team, to the organization. He always part of BTH in the staff, now it's a player. Stalker, Joaquin, he is from Santiago de Chile, a difference of me and Nico. We are from Argentina. He told me that play in different tournaments. And finally, we have Tute. He says he's a player from the community who wants to try competitive play and see how far he could go. They started out just playing together over time, but a few months ago they became much closer and began participating in professional tournaments together. Once they mentioned that the team possessed clean communication and shared goals, which really stands out when they play. Their decision making is done as a unit, and they maintain steady communication and strategy on every single map. Across the years, I learned, working on BTH and other projects, you don't need to own the most expensive computer equipment or wear a famous jersey to qualify for a major tournament. Those materials benefits will come naturally as a result of hard work.
Got the mantle brick. Find it. Stop them. Mantle brick decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
It's a What? The brink of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around comes around.
Not gonna do very much though. You get barrel stuff. Steiny is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
There we go. Much damage, and there it is. Welcome back, Delta Force Rise Series. It's week 2, day 1. It's groups B and D here with Americas, and we finished our first 3 rounds, and I feel like we're well underway at this point as we prepare for Space City. A mana brick appears, and the question is who will get it. Not a single mana brick was gained in Brakkesh. Teams fought over it, but nobody was able to secure it. So this could be our first, which means we're at least playing 5 rounds. Let's see what the leaderboard looks like as we go into this round number 4, though. W Key Forever still at the top by a pretty dynamic margin, 27 total points, but Evil Genius is now at 13 kill points of their own with 8 in the last game. DK, they do jump up 20.
Yep, 20 is definitely going to be a very comfortable position for them to be in, especially as you've said it, right? The metal breaks are going to come out to play again. So we'll see if anybody is going to be able to get their hands on that. We've seen the Evil Geniuses get their hands on a decode. But of course, that was all the way back over onto Brakkesh, all the way back on day number 1st. So a lot has changed since the teams definitely have upped the ante quite a bit here. And of course, if you look back on what we saw day 2, right? Nadeshot, Liquid packing in some heat. But how do they do it? By using the operator. So we are going to be looking at quite a few of those Tempests now coming out to play as we are going to be stepping into Mantle Brick only rounds. And it is going to be rush, rush, rush.
Yeah, 100%. And this is the most popular operator list by a pretty large margin. You've got Stinger, Luna, and Tempest as kind of your mainstay 3 in operator comps on Space City, namely because they're just extremely valuable on this map. You've got a giant amount of smoke presence. You've also got the ability to see through smoke. And then, of course, Tempest is the most play operator on Mana Brick rounds because of that emergency evasion device. When you throw down the tether, use the ult, and you swing forward to either grab the brick off spawn or the decoding station and be able to zip all the way back to where you lost it, or even if you die in the process, you're able to get that self-res and get back to where you started. It is unbelievably valuable. Quick look at the spawns there as we prepare for Space City. I am very excited to see where our players spawn in and who's able to get first blood, and of course, who goes for the mana brick off rip. We'll see those kits, we'll see those operators in a second, but we've got one more giveaway for you all, folks, before we jump into round 4. Oh, wait, looks like we'll do it a little bit later. I gotcha. Pay attention when that code appears on screen a little bit later. We'll make sure to showcase it for you so you can get some more rewards. I've got plenty more coming your way, all right? So stay tuned as we jump straight into the action. It looks like BTH is on Westgate, and they are able to make it through.
Yep, good start here for them as they're able to squeeze through just very narrowly as WKF just applying a lot of pressure to them. But FaZe, Team Nadeshot, Team Liquid, all already up into the center, just waiting for that metal brick to pop. So talk about competition and contention. There is going to be a whole lot of that coming on through here. But only 2 teams not to move into that middle position just yet. We can see it being the Evil Geniuses and of course WKF all the way up on towards that northwestern side. Mantle Break about to come into play, so now it is going to be that mad dash. You can see there are so many Tempests out on the floor here, but only half the lobby decided to go for Tempest as they are potentially considering this, making it all the way over onto round number 6 or 7. So curious to see how these teams are going to approach this, but for the time being, it is going to be Team Nadeshot just holding off right above where we can see that Mantle Brick being situated.
Quick look at the operators and what these teams brought in. Nobody feeling super confident enough to bring in their golds this early because, well, they've got to use purples for round 4. We do got some gold ammo, and it hits like a truck. Chris able to shoot some shots down range using that gold ammo to make sure they get that knock, and hopefully the confirm as they get really aggressive. Quick look at the operators, though. Worth shouting out that only 3 of our teams are investing a Tempest in our first Space City round. We do know that we are going at minimum to round 5 and likely 6 or 7. Cue the chat. But with that in mind, there's more room to use these Tempests in rounds 5 and 6, and that's where some of our teams are electing to keep them.
Yep. We're going to try and play a little bit more of a strategic play here. But let's see how this is going to work out, as Toot is going to be going in for that pickup, trying to bring the team back on their feet, though. Full 3-piece could be quite handy right here, but looking at the total scores, WKF, they are having an absolute glorious day. 28 total points on the board. All they need is a back-to-back Mandel brick to ensure that they finish quite strong here at the end of the day. In the meantime, you can see the team's now continuing to look to apply that pressure. Nobody has yet picked up any kind of Mandel bricks so far, and it's still anybody's play at this point, right? Of course, the last time we seen a lot of these teams out here, e.g., they were the first team to get their hand on that Mandel brick. So curious to see if that is going to be the same approach that they might be opting to play for here, as we do see them very far up towards that northern side. And of course, looking at the other teams that we had to play here, none of them really got their hands on that first brick. So there is going to be a big opening here for either of our squads already situated around it to apply that pressure, to move in and to snag that one up.
It's a waiting game at this point. Team Nadeshot in the best position by a mile to get the brick off spawn. But they're not rushing things. They do have a power position, so they'd like to see if anybody else would play for the brick that they can potentially cut down and therefore get some points. You have to use these power positions where you can. FaZe, the only team with a player down. That's going to be Snows, who was looking down at the decoding, or sorry, at the spawn for the brick. And with that, Snow's down, not going to likely be rezzed. FaZe is at a pretty severe disadvantage. Many of our players have a pretty good idea of where their opponents are at. See Pecky here waiting as he sees the barrel just peek, hoping this player will peek the corner as well. Does not look like Ka's going to be doing that anytime soon. So waiting, game continues. And this reminds me of game 2. This reminds me of a slow-paced play, as finally Pecking getting aggressive here. Could have potentially had 2 if he was able to swing up in time, but he was not. 1 down inside of BTH. An aggressive stance for WKF. That's what they've been doing. W key forever. Finally living up to the namesake. Today, certainly living up to the namesake as they continue to hunt down BTH and get indoors.
Again, that's the exact kind of pacing that we need to see here from them, and I like the showing of aggression coming through with the first confirmation, as Guy is going to be picked on up. But where can they take this to next? A quick pullback there coming through from Bakey, just making sure that they don't overextend their welcome. Meanwhile, Team Nadeshot trying to pick it up, but they are playing a very spread out position here. As you can see, Crisp, Slip, quite close to each other, but we still need to see Sleep, or rather Smile, kind of creep up and join the rest of his team to just try and fortify the overall position they're looking to play at here. Meanwhile, WKF still just out of here at the buoyancy lab, looking for angles, but a quick look back at that peak. Boom,
No
out
way.
it goes. You said Bakey was waiting for somebody to come around that corner. He asked and he got delivered.
That is hilarious. He was so patient that we ran out of patience on main screen just to watch him hold that peak, but he finally got paid for it. That's so funny. And BTH isn't electing to go back for that yet because Becky swung on it. Now, Momo is just kind of throwing bullets down range, making Team Nadeshot think twice about their position, but it's actually FaZe maybe going to be going for the brick finally. Like, Team Nadeshot has been playing so patient. He might be under, actually. But Team Nadeshot has been playing so patient because they felt like they were in a power position, but they've backed off from that position. They can still look at the decoding station quite easily, but here we go. Team Liquid, here the res coming through. It's going to be on yellow timer. It's going to take some time. And that toxic ult does land and connect on a couple of these players. One goes down, more util follows. Mindo comes in, wipes them all up. BTH out of this lobby.
Nice showing of aggression coming through. Unfortunately, that T1 spawn not paying off here for the side of BTH, as the pressure was just too high. But that is our first squad getting taken out of here. BTH currently sitting with only 3 points on the board. If they want to rise to any point here today, they're going to have to double down and bring it in a lot more. We do see Sidoka also picking up a few of those reds, the claw coming out as well. So a good find, as I mean, he's literally just above where we see that mantle break, and Brosh is going for a loot sesh. I like that.
I think of all the reds in the game, there's another one. This is proving my point. Of all the reds in the game, I have found by far the most fossils. I have found so many of these dang fossils in pub lobbies. So the game is also proving that even in the tournament server, there's a lot of fossils around the map. That's 2 for the same team. That's ridiculous. But here comes Evil Genius. They have elected to move up and get engaged around this mana brick. They're like, my goodness, nobody's grabbed it yet? What's going on over here? Can we just walk up and steal it? Maybe. It's possible. Yeah. I think Team Nadeshot also, like, because they had a power position here, or felt like they had a pretty good position, they want to overlook the decoding station and stall this out. This isn't very interesting mathematical equation. I don't know if they're going this deep, as Muamu is actually going to go for it. He's using Tempest Ult off cooldown now, so gonna make a play for this decoding station. Should see Team Nadeshot take a shot here. Are we gonna let this go for free? No. Wow, that's crazy. All right, well, Muamu's got it, but my point still stands. I think Team Nadeshot is content with other teams not getting the brick. Remember, they picked up 10 points. They can stall this thing out. People still don't get bricks. I mean, that's a lot of points that other teams aren't getting when they're at a perfect 10 thus far.
I mean, that was 8 minutes that we had to wait for that brick to get picked up, right? So the team's definitely shifting their focus quite a bit here. But I like this position going through from Team Nadeshot. Nice vantage point over on towards that bridge. But WKF, though, not going to be found out in it just yet. Instead, they are going to look to respond in kind. But now it's going to be the Evil Geniuses feeling quite a bit of pressure out of here, as WKF really poking and prodding into the side of them. And still, we are looking at that mantle break that is just lying out there in the open. Somebody has to pick it up. But again, funnily enough, EG was the first team again to get their hands on that mantle break. It's all now down to whether or not they can actually get that decode going and out in the open. Very exposed. Way. Smile just absolutely capitalizing on a moment of weakness.
That's a huge pickup for a couple of reasons. One, he actually got the pickup on Muamua, who is going for the res, which means he's actually credited the kill. Articuno finally went down to yellow, and so the kill should go over to WKF, who took down Articuno originally. And now Evil Genius, who were in a really good spot on the leaderboard and were working their way up, now we're down to a solo. And both those bodies are wide out in the open. The only way you're getting those is if somebody's playing the decoding station. If we have 2 maps where nobody gets the mantle brick, I'm going to crash out on X, all right? Watch out for some of my tweets later, because what a wild circumstance here with week 2.
Yeah, this is not the kind of approach that we were expecting to see from any of our teams here, as we get a nice cinematic shot there of that mantle break, just waiting for anybody to step up and lay claim to it. But again, it doesn't seem like these teams are too phased with these mantle breaks. Logan now gets ready to sort out a few of the scavs. Just making sure that he's not going to get pushed over onto the far side here. Meanwhile, Smile just sitting back, relaxing, enjoying ramp, and not having to do anything crazy.
Smile has got to read that he's potentially on pipes, I think. But also has got to read that Team Liquid's on the other side. Chris was right next to the mantle break. There's still 2.5 minutes before it goes back to spawn. This is a better place. Oh no, he's holding FaZe. I do believe Diogata had Tempest ult procced. And off screen, look, Smile was holding the angle on WKF. He finds it from a distance. That's another full cleanup too. Team Nadeshot going big in a big way, picking up another kill point for themselves, weakening WKF, but also grabbing the brick. Nice job from the gentleman.
Well, now it's all down to see what the teams are going to be looking to do here. It does seem like they are going into Black Chamber to get this decode started. Nice little bit of an interior setup here. But it's all going to be down to how the teams now look to respond in kind. And there's not a lot of time on the clock. As you can see, there's essentially just a little bit over 2 minutes difference between that decoding time and, of course, the overall round time. So whatever the teams are looking to do here, they're going to have to be really quick about it. If not, this could be another free decode coming through here for Team Nadeshot. We've seen this come for them once. Might it happen again? I don't hope so, but we'll see.
I highly doubt it, especially because this was planted so late. There's really only one thing you can do on the map. Like, you're not extracting right now. He's picking up a couple more reds, but like, the only thing you care about is kills and the mana brick. To get either of those, you should go towards the mana brick. It's pretty simple stuff here, folks. I know our players are calculating more than just that, but you can even see the total score on the left of how many points some of these teams have. Like, if you're FaZe, if you're, you know, even Team Liquid, you got a lot of ground to make up WKF. You got to be playing for these bricks, and that's exactly what Team Liquid's doing. They're working their way slowly through the map, slowly through buoyancy, and they'll move over, hopefully, to the chamber, but they want to clear their pathway first. They're not in a rush, still 2.5 minutes. But it's funny, DK, because I feel like everybody should be in a rush. Now, sometimes when you're in a rush, you scam and you die to rats like in Tide Prison, but on this map, you know, 2.5 minutes on the clock. The first steal hasn't come through yet. It's going to reset at 3.5 minutes. We have less than 5 minutes on the game clock. We are running out of daylight. So I think the name of the game for some of these other teams is just try to steal it to just hope nobody gets it again.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one team that could really do with a Mandel break, it's going to be WKF, right? They could really benefit off getting their hands on that successful decode. But it does seem like the teams are more interested in going all the way to round number 7, right? Because, I mean, we are guaranteed to go into round number 5 if this Mandel break decode goes through. But based on the basic that the teams are showing here is they are here for those kills, right? They want to get aggressive. They want to try and fight it out against each other. And at some point, they're going to have to maybe change up that approach.
Here we go. Pecky was thinking about it, but unfortunately has to burn the Tempest ult and won't be able to use it for the steal now. Here goes the look from Crab. This has been the difference maker for the WKF roster. And the player with the most individual frags, making big hero plays. He's going to try to make one now. Smoke up. He finds him through the smoke, but he can't stick it. Crab is able to steal it away. I thought Team Nadeshot just chow that, just ego it. Hold down the trigger through the utility, and you get that knock and maybe stop the steal. But no, WKF get it. Now, here's the problem, DK. I can't stress this enough. Look at our game clock, man. The next steal puts us at 3 minutes, so you got to do it in the next 15 seconds. That's what Chris was doing. Just barely putting it still within range. And the next steal will do it at 2.5. It's a numbers game, Mason, and it's real tight.
These teams are doing a whole lot of math here, trying to time the steal here to perfection. But if nobody gets this one, if nobody takes it within the next 20 seconds, again, we will see another round with not a single Mandel break being decoded. Absolute insanity coming through here. So let's see who's going to be the brave soul to dare and venture forward here as the clock is slowly ticking away. We've got 5 seconds on the clock. If no one grabs it now, it is it, right? It is going to be Team Nadeshot having to defend that decoding all the way to its finish.
Wow. Okay. That's exactly right. It's Team Nadeshot or it's nobody. If you're evil geniuses, maybe you come over here and get a steal just to prevent somebody getting the brick. There's Loco. He's within range. He's going to move this way eventually. Team Nadeshot now know that their win condition relies on not a single person even starting that steal. If somebody gets onto that steal and resets it, even if they can immediately retake it, even if they can immediately kill them, it's too late. Nobody gets the brick. They have to stick to this decoding station, and if a smoke goes up, they better run straight through, close their eyes, and hold down the trigger, because a single steal prevents all of this progress. Nice pickup there on Pecky, yet again burning the Tempest ult. Stuffed at the line. Team Nadeshot still holding it. Mendo and the crew are starting to make a move from the top ropes.
A good thing to see here is at least it seems like Team Nadeshot are going to be looking to lock down the defensive angles here. Trying to cover as many positions as they can. It's going to be heat coming in. Ooh, quick cleanup coming through here from Team Liquid.
Holy cow.
As they do find that easy trade, but it's going to be Small getting rushed. Quick pickup coming through on that. It's going to be Seabots going for the steal. Will he get it? No!
A huge take They don't get the steal. I told you, Team Nadeshot, they know the win condition. They just can't get stolen. He's going for it. He's got a challenge, but he's getting pinched from both sides. Team Nadeshot, they're out of here. Nobody gets the brick yet again. So what is left but kills, and what is left but Mendo? Kill after kill goes to Team Liquid, and Mendo now weak on his own back feet. The only thing they can do is just grab the brick for the extra cash as Mendo falls. Or no, he's still up barely. Boy has his back. We've only lost Hodsick, but only 27 seconds. And through all the chaos, Loco is a solo and a 1v2 to wrap up this weird and wacky Space City map. What a turn of events, folks.
Team's definitely giving us one of those hold my popcorn and look at this move days here today, as so much is just happening all across the board. The team's definitely throwing everything that we've seen so far in all the previous days of play out the window, right? Definitely coming through with a whole different change to the angles here. And of course, Team Liquid, as we saw, trying everything they could to make as much as possible happen out here. But I think the team that is probably the most kind of just walking around and kicking their heels is going to be Team Nadeshot, right? They came so close to holding on to that Mandel Brick decode, but unfortunately just so much pressure had developed around that position, and unfortunately from what we saw, they did lose out on that. But it is going to be Team Liquid though that is going to be walking away smiling here with 7 kill points to their name, a decent chunk of assets as well, but the damage also just raking in 1200, almost getting up to 1300 damage.
Yeah, doing a good job. For that amount of kills, it's actually a fairly low amount of damage just because they picked up so many kills on weak players at the end there. So a great shout out to Team Liquid, bringing in a ton of value on a map where nobody else was really able to find much. It only came down to kills because nobody got a mana brick. So Mendo picks up 6. I told you he was going crazy. 6 kills from Mendo is a huge boon for the roster. But yet again, you find Pecky up there near the top at 3 himself. Evil Genius's Loco finds 3 of his own. So it's going to be WKF still probably at the top of the leaderboard because nobody has a brick, but Team Liquid slowly chipping away at that early buffer that WKF put. 900 from Mendo really tells the story of how much this guy was entry fragger and just stayed on his feet the entire time.
Yeah, Mendo doing a lot of work for his squad, but so has Boy, right? Boy definitely contributing alongside the rest of the team here. As you can see, Heartstick also coming through with those assists. So Team Liquid, a very shared approach, right, that they brought out onto this round, looking to kind of just double down on everything that they could find here. And of course, we do see quite a few of those assets being earned here as well. Sudoka picking up 2.1 mil with Mr. Diogard coming through on 811k. Is quite a bit of a fall off, but you know, it's kind of to be expected. But it's going to be none other than Mendo to take our MVP award with those 6 kill points, 900 damage exactly, 1,100k assets exactly, and of course only that 1 assist being brought through as well. So a very strong play from the side there of Team Liquid.
Yeah, and I do want to bring up a small point here. Reminder that every kill that these players get is $50 for their name. So Mendo's racking it up right now. Folks, you got to drop a follow on all major socials. We got all the social medias out there with Delta Force. Go check them out. They've got a lot of cool updates about the game. Yes, on the main channels, but also updates around the Rise series, schedules, rosters, all that good stuff. Stay in tune. Now, DK, before we head to the break, I do have to remind chat that I said I was going to crash out on X because still we finished map 4 and nobody has a battle brick. What is happening with the Delta Force Rise series in week 2? It's getting more and more competitive, and in that competitive nature, these teams are striking each other down and no one can get a mana brick. It may come down to squad points here, DK. And the only thing I can think of while I'm crashing out is that some of the teams in Group A are shaking their fists in the sky and celebrating because these are points that teams are not getting. Every mana brick is a point in our group stage leaderboard as well, and they're competing against the other groups. This is good news if you're in Groups A or C, DK.
Yeah, I mean, squad points count for today, right? Only for today. It is going to be where you finish on the leaderboard that is going to determine how many of those points you are going to be picking up. And see that we are getting mana bricks being denied. I don't see a team necessarily picking up 10 points today.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we could see a team still double brick. We could see a closeout in 6. I think we're going to 7, folks. But before we get to 7, we got to play map 5. Going to map 5 next. It's going to be Space City. You're not going to want to miss it. Let's head back to a very short break.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and NT getting a little... So hang on a second, NL! Look at that! It's an absolute sweat! This... And at least he's got it, though. They're here. Lines them up, even through the shot. You're nuts! The last remaining 3 BOV, they find 2 instant knocks. The Helm's gonna be hopping off that.
Got the Mandel bricks. Find and stop them. Mandel bricks decoded. Nice work, operator.
The time to strike is now. Do not let me down, operator.
Decoding has begun. Defend the area.
Is about to take the first brick of the tournament. And they're going to do it.
What goes around, comes around.
Oh, not going to do very much, though. You get barrel stuff. Skydie is getting aggressive.
See what I did there? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's knock them off their feet.
So much damage, and there it is.
Welcome back, Delta Force Rise series. It's week 2, day 1. We just wrapped up game 4 of the matchup between groups B and D here at the Americas region. And still not a team with a brick. We've played 4 games. We've had 2 Mantle Brick rounds, and both ran out of time before anybody could capture a Mantle Brick. It's the first time I've ever seen it, especially in the Americas region. No, EMEA have had their troubles getting their bricks, but let's take a look at the leaderboard, because I talked about Team Liquid and Evil Geniuses slowly creeping their way up, but W Key Forever is holding on to a commanding lead when it comes to squad points, because nobody has a brick yet, DK.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, and if that's going to be the play for the rest of the day, WKF, they're going to be smiling because they have the most on the board and nobody is looking to contest them. I mean, Evil Geniuses, yes, they are still 9 away. So if they can find a little bit of that magic coming into round number 5, it would be amazing. But of course, so far, everything that we've witnessed so far today is stuff that we've not really seen before. So I like where the teams are taking this to some extent. Of course, we'd love to see things that we know, right? Like Mandel Bricks coming out, being decoded, and actually teams being able to walk away with those. We do also still see quite a few of those Tempest up for grabs, as we did see in the previous round. Half the lobby decided to go for Tempest. They knew that we were not going to finish soon here today, so they are looking to go the distance, and this is where we could see teams like Nadeshot also are looking to play for that Tempest position. But again, right, we see our kind of meta choice here when it comes to the operators when it is on Space City. But again, teams could look to surprise us.
I mean, I think we'll assuredly see all of our teams invest Tempest here in this next round. If I don't see 100% Tempest pick rate here, I may be slightly surprised. I guess for the 3 teams that have already burned one, there is a chance they may wait for map 6, but as a reminder, for map 7, everything gets reset. So if you haven't used a Tempest yet, you're 100% using it the next 2 rounds, or you are just playing the game wrong. Now, as we take a look at the spawns, BTH and Team Nadeshot did have priority spawns here for the mana brick, and so they will not have that moving into the next round. See the teams that could pull the T1 spawns to everybody else. That's the only delineation in our spawn prediction. So you just can't get tier 1 back to back. Back to Space City we go. DK, I asked you a very difficult question. In the past, it's been extremely easy, but do you think a team, any team, gets a mantle brick in map 5? Or is this just one of those weird matches?
I wish I could give you an easy answer. How much time do you got?
Yeah, that's right. No clue is my answer. We get into the action, and it looks like FaZe has pulled a T1 spawn. They're trying to make their way through Westgate, and Team Nadeshot, they know the spawn well. They're going to try to catch them in the act, catch them in the transition. Good job smoking it and running it, making Team Nadeshot think twice about it. That should get them through.
Oh, there we go. Good exit stage left as FaZe able to squeeze on through. We got 10 seconds until the mantle brick is available. Team Liquid, up close and personal. We do see Evil Geniuses coming through yet again. But is anybody going to be able to walk away with that mantle brick? Let's find out, as it is going to be go, go, go very, very soon. Of course, the teams are going to be waiting for those Tempest ults to be ready. And, well, look at that. Everybody has come through with the Tempest. Everybody is ready for the action and the insanity, hopefully, that round number 6 is going to be bringing in, or 5.
Yeah, also round 5, first time we're not seeing anybody with an AWM and an M82. Like, this is just the weirdest of matches here in the first day. We still have 2 more days of competition and plenty more games tonight, so we'll be here for a while. And as we take a look at the map and the operator selections, no huge surprises here. Muo running Tempest there for EG. It's going to be Mendo on Team Liquid this time. He's hot. He's on a heater. Let's keep him hot. Mendo's going to be their entry fragger, utilizing Tempest's dive roll, and of course, EED as well. But the real question I have is, who's going to go for the brick first? Is it going to be Evil Genius, or is it going to be Team Liquid? Both thinking about it. Both waiting on potentially usage of the Tempest ult here. Should have it. And there it is. Muo going for it.
Yeah. Mumu now getting that move on. Ooh, spots a quick cheeky angle over on towards DeoGod. Is that going to change anything, though, with regards to the pickup here? Oh.
Ooh, good try.
Yeah, good play onto DeoGod. Instantly getting dropped on down here. And that is looking pretty strong now, as Articuno is right there on the break. Is he going to be able to get his hands on it anytime soon, though? That is going to be the main question. Meanwhile, it's going to be WKF finding themselves in a bit of a predicament. It is going to be FaZe just above them. Articuno trying to figure out if this is going to be the right call.
Sneaky, sneaky. Hey, look, if your Tempest ult doesn't work, why not just creepy crawl your way to it, grab the brick, and then just run like your life depends on it, because it certainly does. I like the defensive Tempest ult that DeoGod played there. Was able to win that gunfight against Muo, which not a lot of players can say that they've done that. So nice shots on the top. Did have a nice advantage with the height, but either way you look at it, on the run. Evil Genius first the brick, and they're going to back up the way they came, which is back towards the bridge. Mendo trying to get some info, gets the info that he needed, which is where is Evil Genius going? We can see where the brick is going, but is the full team going that direction? 100% they are. This is a classic play. A lot of the teams that get this southern spawn that can check bridge first, come from bridge, go for the brick, always go back to bridge and put it in this, what I call the test workshop decoding station. So this will be a fun one to play for, as Evil Genius will have a nice power position, probably playing behind this big truck. The teams that usually play on top of bridge kind of get punished because they can get pinched by so many different teams. So oftentimes you'll play on the back side of this point because you know there's a team not on your back. Unless they can somehow, like, literally crawl around you, you know there's only one real direction that you need to be looking, which is back towards where the mantle brick spawns, where these teams can come from. Now, you have to look a little bit right and a little bit left at the same time, but that's a lot better than checking in front and behind you.
Yeah, I think that's a good goal coming through from the side of Evil Geniuses. We've actually seen them use this strategy before, so curious to see if this one is going to pan out here for them. It does result in quite a bit of chaos erupting down on towards that southern position here, but I like what Team Liquid are doing as well. They are going to be wrapping around the northern side as they move in. Articuno better keep his wits about him, because he is about to receive quite a bit of pressure coming through from Liquid as Mendo and everybody just now looks to get that full send, moving considerably closer. And this is Articuno now on the front edge.
Gonna try to scan to pick up the push, and he's able to read it. Here they come. Team Liquid getting really aggressive. They slow their roll a bit after quite a bit of utility comes out. Feel like they couldn't just push out into the open. Articuno feels comfortable enough to know that they're over here. Throws some damage down. Gonna trade out. Maybe Mendo. No, gets him very low. Just put damage across all three of them, but not enough to take anybody out. Mendo's getting healed up. And here comes... I much prefer Team Liquid's position. Now in player advantage, you have to send a player over the top to actually chow that. And because they're so focused on that fight, Evil Genius, they lose the brick. WKF's coming in the backside. Muo's gonna have to choose, do we fight this or do we not? And he actually gets one. Great shot. Muo doesn't miss often, and he didn't miss a single bullet there. Great tracking to find Mendo, who's a little bit weak but can't get two. Down goes another for Evil Genius, and now they're deeply in trouble. Loco is always last alive, but there's gonna be more fraggers from the backside. He's got to chow on one side or the other. Evil Genius gets stuck between rock and a hard place, which is Team Liquid and WKF. And now WKF feel like they've got an advantage, and they certainly do. Hodzik goes down. Mendo back up, and they full send. Full tilt. Pedal to the metal. WKF technically help wipe two teams. A huge win, and they're in control of the brick.
Insane trade up here coming through from the side of WKF. That is looking absolutely glorious. They've got 38 points. That's the highest that we've seen so far. Absolute insane play coming through from them. They are definitely going to try and make sure that they finish at the tippity top come end of day here. And of course, especially now with that Mandel brick in their possession, rather, this could be that ticket for them. But let's see what the rest of the lobby is going to do in responses. Team Nadeshot are going to be coming up through those zips, standing on the bridge, scanning through the way, almost having a decent angle there, but they are going to be running into BTH potentially as well, as both teams are now looking to descend down upon this Mandel break.
Pecky looking to try to grab one from distance, and he's able to do just that. What a headshot. It's going to make Team Nadeshot, I think, twice about that, crossing that peak. Feeling comfortable, he's going to check another angle, since he's got some cover to play with. Again, WKF still holding Mandel brick right now, so they don't really care about securing these kills from distance. They're just trying to keep Team Nadeshot from being able to make a coordinated push and buy a little bit more time, especially because it does look like FaZe is on the move finally. FaZe may be the first to the brick if they want to make a play for it. Likely going to drop that Tempest ult. Pay attention to the time on the decoding station. If they don't use the ult basically right this second, which look like I think Diogod just did, as he is their Tempest player, he may have one more in the bank, depending on how long this thing is out for. I don't know if he'll actually get off cooldown in time. It's going to be really close. Pecky's going to go ahead and burn his. He wants to be able to chow for this and get back to cover, which will be behind his van. But everybody's still in a bit of a waiting game. As 60 seconds around the clock on the decoding station, somebody's got to make a move. It's going to be Slep first. Slep comes flying up towards it. Is he actually going to stick it? A lot of util being invested, and Pecky's going to try to barrel stuff. He gets there late. He just immediately steals it right back. Thank you very much. Let's get a reset. I'm fine with that. 2.5 minutes. WKF still in control.
Let's see if they can maintain that control here as a FaZe, as well as Team Nadeshot stepping up, but Nadeshot getting wiped out of here, and down to half the lobby we go. And I mean, FaZe and BTH, the only two teams left to contest the WKF here, so this could maybe be in the bag for WKF.
Well, it certainly feels like it's going to go to somebody. With only 3 teams left, there's only so much stalling out you can do, and there's still nearly 10 minutes on the clock. So good news if you're Rise Series fans. We'll get a Mandel brick going to somebody, and we've got a team on match point. The question is who? WKF certainly in a power position, especially with BTH and FaZe potentially fighting on the outskirts. This is great news for the team at the top of the leaderboard. Ka does find one member of FaZe, going to put them down to a duo, and they head underground, not feeling like they can take that engagement, nor really would you want to. I mean, they're just weakening their position to be able to play for this Mandel brick decoding station.
Yeah, I mean, you have to find a bit of a creative way to get yourself in contention here. And I mean, so far for WKF, things are looking pretty good right now. BTH, I like the aggression that they bring it to the forefront here as well. Just full sending it as they are going to rush up to the brick. But now it all comes down to how well WKF can defend it. You can see Lord Joker right there on the front line. Getting ready for the steal. Is he going to be able to get his hands on it? No, he gets instantly denied. Quick pickup here from Bakey. But again, right, the pressure just starting to mount. And of course, now FaZe needs to decide what they want to do here. They're still holding on to the underground, but are they going to look to surface anytime soon?
Saw DioGod pop Tempest just a moment ago to play for the engagement to wipe Team Nadeshot, so we should have it back in time. Right near the bottom of this clock, about 30 seconds. FaZe down to a duo, but Tempest is still up for them. But Pecky has done a magnificent job holding this decoding station. And he's actually just going to sit on it for the final 20 seconds, up into the bush, looking for anybody coming his way. He's going to pop an ult of his own, because even if he gets knocked here, he's still going to be alive on the map. BTH overlooking the top of it, but I guess they're just going to give the brick away. Nobody's going for it. 6 seconds on the clock. If you're going to make a move, you got to make a move now, and nobody will make the move. They know the game's not over if WKF get it, and they can't wipe them all. WKF, the first to a Mandel brick. Power position earned, and power position yields a Mandel brick. Finally, our first in this match here in game number 5. They were first team on match point, and I think unfortunate for the rest of the rosters out here, WKF was so far ahead of everybody else in terms of squad points. This is bad news, because even if somebody else gets a brick, WKF is still going to be at the top of the leaderboard.
Yep, it's going to be really tough catching WKF here today, and of course, they don't really get too much for what happens right now, but ideally, they're going to try and survive all the way to the very end. BTH, though, this is their opportunity to score some points, right? They can go at FaZe, they can go at WKF to try and turn that 6 into any number higher than that, right? They're going to have to crank out so many points in the remainder of the day, and especially now with WKF putting pressure on the lobby with that Mandel brick, it could end in the next round. So whatever they are looking to do here, BTH, they will have to double down and get it done.
Now it's about hunting those kills. Now you do see that WKF is wielding some golds down at the bottom. Gold armor, gold helmets. So they'd like to extract here. And extract the Mandel break. They'd like to get themselves out of the map to save those gold gear. For those that don't know, you can only buy gold gear once. There's another way to get gold gear using lucky wooden sculptures, but we don't really see that too often anymore. It's a new ad with the Rise series, but it's difficult to do. And the way the maps have been playing, there just hasn't been an opportunity to do some of those special missions like Wall Breaker, go for the bosses. Fights were just late in the game. Didn't have time. And so gold armors, if you see a team with them, it's extremely valuable to keep them. The WKF need to get out of Test Workshop. Maybe could send a player out if they'd like to. And then otherwise, play for some of these kills. Starting to run out of daylight here for an extraction. Don't make a move, but kills certainly will cover the gear value.
Yeah, it sure will. I mean, especially if they want to go for extraction.
Oh? Peekaboo.
Yeah, they can't afford to have any of that happen to them. So I surely don't expect to see that full extraction going through anytime soon. But FaZe, though, with a nice, quick, easy pickup there, as they do find Lord, and down he goes, being put on timer, and it is going to be DioGod now just kind of guarding that position as well. As you can see him starting to move up. Oh, gets spotted, but fortunately, he was playing with his ult, so does get him back into safety quick and fast. But Saidoka still having a bit of an opportunity here to maybe cause even more ruckus.
It's about finding the right window of opportunity to get some of these kills. Oftentimes it's outplays, but occasionally patience will yield you some extra points. DioGod's picked up 3 of his own, really utilizing Tempest in a marvelous way as a true assault operator. I think oftentimes in this format we use Tempest, yes, assault still technically, but more so like you are an objective hound, right? Like you always play for the objective using Tempest ult, but DioGod's been playing very aggressive with this ult, trying to play entry fragger and pick up kills in transition while utilizing the ult, which is a great job from him. Be able to secure 3 of his own. Here goes Crab though, making all the noise that he can possibly make, as he knows Toot's got a bow and he's not hitting that shot. Crab's gonna get a freebie. A nice, very aggressive push is gonna open up a pathway to rotate out and potentially pick up a res on his teammate. All 3 up for WKF is bad news for the solo that is now Sudoka. As it looks like DioGod was actually cut down at the same time from BTH.
Some pretty tough decisions having to be made here. We still have that fast southern extraction available right there. So Workshop still up for grabs. Not seeing any of the other extractions really being played here just yet. So it's all down to what BTH and FaZe are going to be looking to bring to the table. As you can see, DioGod has been brought back. Now it's just a quick retreat here. So Sudoka is going to be just pretty much committed to staying in the underground, at least for the time being, as they do surface on the far side. BTH just ahead of them. Grab, beautiful trade. Finds the one, but can he pick up Car as well? I mean, they are now up to 42 points.
Yeah, I mean, this is... WKF's just running away with the game at this point. Now, you never know what could happen. We talked about teams running away with the game with a crazy amount of kills, etc. And then another team just double bricks, but there's BTH's Ka. Unfortunately, a little windy out, doesn't hit his shots fast enough, and Crab has not been missing tonight, feeling very hot with the gun. He wins the engagement. And again, with a full team of 3, FaZe now back to a duo, just looking for whatever they can get their hands on here. It's going to be a tough fight to take. But even just 1 kill here, 1 kill there can keep you on this leaderboard in a position that is a little bit more favorable. I do want to go ahead and take this moment to remind you, yes, WKF is running away with it. And yes, somebody else could still win it. But the placement on the leaderboard does matter in our group stages. You get extra points for 2nd, 3rd, etc. over 4th, 5th, 6th. So these kills may matter when it comes to tiebreakers. And wow, what bad timing. Not thinking he would chow there. Sudoka able to get away with murder against a player who's been incredibly hot tonight. Peeks the corner of the bow. Becky peeks it as well. They both kind of stare at each other, but finally, Sudoka gets his gun up and he's able to gun one down. Now, bottom left of your screen, really quick. Seabots did extract. Took test workshops as expected. Getting one out, protecting some gold gear is nice. Crab just looking for a couple more kills to continue to make the journey for some of these other teams at the leaderboard impossible. But no, he can't get them. Finally, Crab falls, and FaZe are the last 2 players onto the map. FaZe finally win a map, coming online with a ton of kills, actually. Sudoka's on 3, DioGod's on 3. It's at least 6, and I want to say they've got maybe 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a fairly decent run there. I mean, as you can see, looking at the points there, they are sitting on a grand total of 6 kills, so even share across the board between DioGod and Sudoka. But of course, now the big objective at hand: can you extract with a decent bit of loot? Can you get enough just crammed up into that 3x3 to make all of this worth even more, as we are going to be looking at that final few moments just looking to play out here? And of course, it is pretty slim pickings, right? The 3x3 is only so big. We do see a few of those dog tags being played as well now. The teams are trying to find any and every little bit of value that they can muster up. But the clock, I'm pretty sure, is going to get punched out before too much looting can continue. So FaZe will have to settle for what they've been able to get in this round. And, well, that is predominantly kills.
Yeah, they got a ton of kills, FaZe did, but the big winners by a mile are WKF, who got probably at least as many or close to it, and finally got the first mantle brick. So FaZe, WKF, the big winners, and then teams like Evil Genius and Team Liquid, unfortunately the losers here in map number 5. Evil Genius tried to kind of take matters into their own hands and start the code early, immediately get swarmed by WKF, coming in the 3rd party in their engagement. Evil Genius versus Team Liquid. Team Liquid win that engagement with the help of the 3rd party from WKF, but then WKF W-key, and they full send to take down Team Liquid as well. That's 7 kills. So it did look like Seabots had one of his own for a total of 7 for this roster, nearly 2,000 damage. and 3 mil assets because Seabots was able to get out of the map with those golds. They're going to have them for the next round. And of course, they got the mana brick as well, DK. But talk to me about the rest of the teams. Like we thought, FaZe Clan did pick up 6 kills.
Yep, still contributing quite a bit of carnage rather to that, and the chaos ensues with Liquid and BTH also coming in hot with their own trades. But when we look at the total amount of kills, it is going to be WKF Crap that is going to be leading the board here with a 4 going over to them. FaZe again just doubling down, managing to lock in the 6 is going to help just to push them a little bit further up the overall board. But Bakey also still stepping up onto the top damages here with 467 alongside Crab, doing so much work here for the squad. Diogod also being an absolute menace, as we saw in this past round, just trying to lock in everything they could, managing to get those assists, contributing to the damage that FaZe was able to do here. Good to see Team Liquid on the board as well. But as we know, right, this was our very first Mandel break that we saw getting decoded. And that big play that you mentioned coming through from Seabots, the extraction, ensuring that not all golds are lost, definitely is going to help pay off once they move into that next round.
Yeah, that's exactly right. WKF, the big winners, but Mr. Diogod, the MVP, for good reason. You shouted it out. He picked up the 3 kill points, and he picked up 2 assists. There's only 6 kills from FaZe. He was involved in all of them. A great Tempest player. And again, I was talking about how he used Tempest to play really aggressive. So congrats to FaZe for having a solid round. But again, WKF is the team to catch. You got to catch them soon, though, because they could close it out in the next round, DK. So I ask you the age-old question. Are we ending in 6? Or are we going to 7?
I would like to say 6, because looking at the sheer volume of points they have, I don't know, but I see the setup that you gave me there. It's a little bit of this, and yeah, I'm going to stick to that.
That's crazy. All right, folks, as we prepare for Game 6, we're going to take a very short break here in the booth. Can WKF go back-to-back and get double brick and close this thing out in 6, or will we end in 7? We'll see you in just a little while.
Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little... So hang on a second, NL! Look at that, it's an absolute sweat! This... And LG's gotta know that they're here, lines them up, even through the shot, you're nuts! For the last remaining 3 BOB, they find 2 instant knocks. The Helm's gonna be hopping off that. Two members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little... So hang on a second, NL! Look at that, it's an absolute sweat! This... And LG's gotta know that they're here, lines them up, even through the shot, you're nuts! For the last remaining 3 BOB, they find 2 instant knocks. The Helm's gonna be hopping off that.
We're back. Delta Force Rise Series Week 2, Day 1, Groups B and D here in Americas. And we finally have a team with a brick, but we are just now going to Game 6, folks. Yes, that math is correct. We had 2 rounds without a team getting a brick. Finally, we have one, and now WKF, W Key Forever, is on match point, and they have double the squad points of any other team. They have nearly double the amount of kill points from any other team. What a ridiculous turn of events. DK, can we remind the viewers, WK Forever is in nearly last place on our overall group stage leaderboard. They have woken up. They're here to say that we're not going to be in the bottom anymore. We've got to make it to the finals.
Yeah, I mean, and I've been you know, blowing them up the whole day. This is exactly the kind of performance a team that is sitting in last needs to bring on through. This is what we want to see. This is what we want to have them do. And of course, what a way to double down on the efforts here. And I mean, what a turnaround, right? The first day of play, they had 7 kills. 7. They got that all the way back much earlier in the day. They are now on 30 points. Absolutely insane. You've already pointed it out. They are coming through with a very strong 42 match score, right? I mean, the highest one we've seen has not been anywhere close to that. So these teams are absolutely on a rampage, and they could wrap it up right here in round number 6.
I want to clarify my statement. WK Forever is in last place on our group standings. They are 12th overall, which means they wouldn't even make it to week 5 if things didn't change. Now, there's, of course, plenty of more weeks to play, including the rest of this match, but good grief. Well, folks, as we take a look at our operator choices, DK, I'm seeing 3 teams that can still use the Tempest. Those 3 teams with a small advantage going into this round.
Yeah, unfortunately, WKF is not going to be one of those. So there is a big opportunity available to them to see what the teams are going to be looking to do for this next play here, to see if anything could happen. But of course, it could go any which way, right? They could surprise us with a few of their choices, but we see our popular choices again. It's going to be Singer, Luna, and of course Tempest to make its way in here. And it persists over onto the popular side. As you can see, Tempest, Luna, Stinger, very, very popular, and expecting the teams to try and play this as strong and as hard as they can. I'm just trying to get over the insane number of points that we've been witnessing so far, but it is going to be that play for T1 Spawn yet again.
Yeah, we talked about it. Team Liquid, FaZe Clan had the last one, so the question is who will have the next ones? Well, it could be anybody else. So you'll pay attention to those T1 spawns, namely just because you can get to the Mantle Brick first. But the way these maps have been playing, it doesn't matter all that much. Most people have been able to get to the Mantle Brick and be able to play around the spawn because nobody's grabbing it off rip. But folks, we're technically on match point. Guess what that means? No more bait and switch. We've got one more giveaway before we jump into round number 4. It's time. It's on your screen right now. Redeemable code for 1,000 Delta tickets. This is what you've been asking for. Type it in quickly, redeem it in-game or at the official website online. Go type in your code. Go get your Delta tickets. You certainly earned them by watching the chaotic mess that has been this matchup here in week 2, day 1. Type in your code. Again, this is limited redemption. So if you type it in too slow, you're going to miss your Delta tickets. Type it in as fast as you possibly can, and hopefully you can earn your tickets and take them home so that you can get back into the game with some extra gear to use those tickets on. DK, here we go. It's map 6. Let's see what they can do.
I was trying to pronounce that code, and it still seems to be quite a bit of a challenge. Like it's something. But Westbridge, though, is where things are going to look to maybe heat up as we see WK Forever are going to be pushing through on that side, and we see the other team joining them on that T1 spawn is none other than Team Nadeshot. Now, we've seen in the past teams that have been able to find themselves in that T1 spawn generally have a high probability chance of being the team to get the Mantle Brick decoded as well. That has not been the case here today whatsoever, right? I mean, WKF, they definitely set the standard for quite a few surprises here. So let's see, can they continue with that momentum as they now get to venture up to the Mantle Brick, get this party underway, but they're going to have to deal with BTH and, of course, the players then coming through from Team Nadeshot as well.
Yeah, WKF, Team Nadeshot, BTH, all looking to play for the brick off rip, whereas Team Liquid, FaZe, Evil Genius, they're electing to play quite slow here, and actually it's just going to be WKF saying, guys, I don't really care that you're finding. Look at BTH, by the way, finding that missile, 1.4 mil. Exciting stuff. I'm going to be honest. Their total score is 7 right now. They need all the loot they can find. So big shout out to BTH getting a little RNG lucky on the map with the graphics card as well. It's a ton of loot, but we've got to pay attention to the brick. WKF is on match point, and they grab the brick first, and nobody really contests them. Where do they head to start the decode? What do they want to play with? They've got 2 engineers and a D-Wolf. Am I predicting an inside decoding station this time, DK? I think I'd certainly think that's a pretty good idea if you're not using a Tempest.
Yeah, I mean, that seems very, very plausible coming through from them. And, ooh, well, I mean, this is kind of inside.
Okay.
Kind of not, right? It's kind of inside the alley, right? So it works, sure. Not really, but, you know, let's not be too pedantic about it. But one thing that I am looking at is BTH, and I said this before, right? They need to up the ante because in their first day of play, they only managed to score a grand total of 1 match point, right? That means they cannot continue to play like this. They have to double down. They have to get aggressive, go out there and, heck, even get their hands on a mantle break.
No, I like that call out. As we pay attention to what these teams have been able to do, it is worth mentioning. Like I mentioned before, WKF is the only team without a single point on our group stages. So to pick up 10 here would take away all of the excessive bleeding that happened in week 1 from them and put them square in probably the middle of our leaderboard. It would be a really good spot for them as they go into their next match. So we'll see if they're able to double brick here. And also, if they're able to double brick, this prevents so many points for some of these other teams. It's not often where a team is able to pick up both bricks and not a single other team on the map has picked up one. Every mana brick is a group stage point as well, folks. Really important when you're trying to decipher who's going to be the bottom 2 teams that don't even make it to week 5 or the top 2 teams who make it straight to the finals on week 5. All that matters now is the game that's at hand in this round. 2.5 minutes. BTH on height. Team Nadeshot on low ground. WKF in complete control. They just elected to go this direction, not because of an operator choice, but more so because of the information that they had gained on the map. They knew there was nobody over here. Start the decode, and they have complete control of this position. We always talk about the ramp being a win condition. Being able to play indoors here is very nice, especially when they have so much utility to throw at that decoding station and zone off some pushes. If they can hold ramp as well, which is what it looks like they're doing right now. If Crab's able to get a kill here, this could be huge. He's able to tag 1, but calling in the reinforcement saying, whoa, that's a full team of 3. I'm not prepared for that.
Yeah. A good angle being held here, and I think Crab is a really good player to have defend that ramp position. But still, you got to watch out for what the Evil Geniuses could be bringing in here, as well as we do see Team Nadeshot, though, getting full possession of ramp. They do step up, and no contention really coming through from the side here of WKF. I mean, this could be slept just quite comfortably, pushing forward onto that steal, as so far has been denied, and so it is still strong defenses being held by WKF. Ramp not really paying off for the side of Team Nadeshot just yet.
That was an interesting one. I mean, this is what I was talking about. You see how much utility they were able to throw at the decoding station to make Team Nadeshot think twice about that push. I'm kind of surprised. He must have run out of time on the emergency evasion device. It was a pretty long one. Otherwise, you just bait out all the util, wait a second, then go for the steal right as you're wrapping up your ult. But I think he might have just ran out of time. Regardless, Team Nadeshot's still in a pretty good position to be able to play for the brick. You can see where Slept has already moved all the way up. They have full control over the ramp, so WKF are having to play indoors, and Evil Genius are down below as well. So with the pressure and the util coming their way, you can only expect Team Nadeshot to full send this. The Incendiary is going to ward them off for a moment, but you got to just kind of commit. Problem. You got Sonic Trap, you got Triple Blast, you got everything in between, but he's still able to get it. Rolls out of there, gets the steal. Team Nadeshot now in control of the brick, while Evil Genius are pushing and pressuring from the low side.
Yeah, again, the basing is being picked up quite a bit here, so WKF need to re-strategize as to how they could get their hands back on that mantle break, but now it's going to be the Evil Geniuses already looking to play out their strategy, starting to move on forward. I like Team Nadeshot's position as well, locking down that ramp, so whichever way it goes, they have a pretty good say in the matter. But still, BTH looking to gain the angle. Not the best position to move up from, but it is got a little bit of an opportunity to try and advance forward. As you can see, a very slow but steady position being played here by Toot and the rest of BTH. But of course, Team Liquid is keeping a very close eye on them. So whatever they decide to do, they're going to have to fully commit to that. But still, the counter is going to be ticking. We're about to hit that 2.5-minute mark. And Team Nadeshot, though, in still very good possession. There's a big opportunity for WKF to play the upset here.
WKF doesn't have a Tempest. They're going to have to just truly full send this. Team Nadeshot have control of the ramp, so they're able to play the alleyway. It's going to be a lot of smokes and a lot of util to ward off Team Nadeshot for WKF to actually make a play. And now you can see Evil Genius is actually finding one on BTH. Great shot over the top from Loco means that they can full send and full tilt, and they get a second as well. BTH in a blender after all that loot they found on the map earlier. Now they're running this feels way too familiar. Ka last alive with the team, running and hiding, hoping to stay alive. But Evil Genius, they want the kills. They want the extra $50, and they want to make sure that their back is covered, and that's exactly what happens. BTH first out. BTH having a brutal day. Gonna have to regain on a different match.
They'll definitely have to do that. But let's see who is going to be the ones to step up and now contest the decode here as TN full on the lockdown. Ooh, a little bit of an offensive Shepherd being played here. It's going to be a full send now from Team Nadeshot, trying to see if they can breach. So far, being denied access, being denied entry, and WKF trying everything they can. But up comes FaZe Snows, one of the names we've been shouting excessively last week, now looking to push up onto ramp.
60 seconds. Who's going to make the play first? FaZe, also out of Tempest ults, or Tempest in general. Gonna have to win this with their gunny. Snows lands great utility. Look at that incendiary over the top of Smile and Team Nadeshot down to a duo here. It's gonna be a tough one to hold, but 45 seconds is all they need. Evil Genius could make a play from low here, but WKF are back to full force. This is gonna be a tough fight to take, and so they're gonna have to rely on somebody else to make a play. Could it be somebody from Team Liquid? Could it be Mendo? With his ult, just run up and steal while Team Nadeshot's in trouble. He could swing out here from the far side door, coming from the low ground. It's possible, but he's got to make a move. 20 seconds on the clock. Smile feeling the pressure from both sides. A lot of utility landing. Really worried about ramp side, but they do need to check the decoding station. Here comes Mendo. Ult out, but we're sticking the brick. Mendo's there, and he's able to get Smile, and he was able to wipe Team Nadeshot with the help of Snows. It pauses the timer. Mendo ran out of ult. Team Nadeshot would have gotten the brick, but FaZe struck at the exact same time. Team Nadeshot go down. Brick is paused, and we got plenty of game to play.
Yes, sir. Here we go. Now it's up to the teams to get those positions squared off again. As you get to see Evil Genius, they are going to start to move on through. Beautiful play onto FaZe. Just wipe him down. As FaZe now is left with only one. It is going to be a pretty tough position for them to try and fight through, but a quick cleanup is going to come in here. So Doga, again, going to be the last hopeful for his team. Now trying to get the heck out of there. As you can see him all the way over towards Black Chamber. But WKF, though, is still pretty committed to pushing forward. I mean, if they can get this decode, this could be the game, right? This could be the day the match is over right then and there. So there's so much on the table here for them.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good job from WKF just playing patient. I mean, it is one of those things where they kind of said, well, somebody else will do our dirty work for us. And they got lucky enough to say that actually happened because other people didn't want the game to be over either, or potentially over. There's no notification telling you exactly who is decoding, but you can get a pretty good idea, especially if you get a knock. Here's Crab. He's been the hero of WKF. One of the main reasons they've been so successful today. He's got my MVP as a current, but nobody is decoding this mana brick. And Evil Geniuses are right back in the same spot that Team Nadeshot was, except they're in a slightly better position because they don't have somebody staring at their back. Nobody's coming up ramp right now. It feels like a 3v3 because Team Liquid's so far away and FaZe is down to a solo. Loco will start it. Evil Genius, they've got control.
Well, not too crazy of a play so far just yet. Good trade up going through there from EG. Oh, we got to sort out that machine gun. And thank you so much for that. A little bit of OCD on my end. But meanwhile, it's going to be Team Liquid creeping their way up the stairs. They are going to be creeping and encroaching on that mantle brick. Looking to see if they can maybe contest that decode, but you got to watch out for them rockets as they are going to be sent straight over onto WKF. Mendo trying to line up the angle, not finding it just yet, but this is Team Liquid trying to buy themselves a little bit of time. They want to maybe wrap all the way around over onto ramp.
Yeah, they could come up low side. They've got plenty of time. I mean, still 2 minutes on the clock. Maybe they could have played containers if they wouldn't got spotted, and I think Mendo assumed he got spotted by the allure rocket and therefore threw the disarm just so they could cross, but I don't know if that was habit or necessary. Either way, should be fine. real question. Oh, yeah, they spotted him. Hello. Sudoka trying to be sneaky. Run, run, run. Worried about this potential solo, though. Could slow Team Liquid down enough to where they either make a mistake and Sudoka's able to grab a kill, or slow him down enough so they don't actually make a play for the brick. And it looks like Team Liquid seeing this solo, not knowing it's a solo, thinking this might be a full roster, FaZe or otherwise. They actually go back to shipping containers, maybe peek hallway, while WKF is putting a crazy amount of utility over on Loco. He's trying his hardest to stay alive. Put out the fires, my man. You're still up. And here comes Team Liquid through containers.
This could be the setup here. As you can see, Mendo trying to push up. Hotstick on the cover here as Mendo goes in for the steal. Able to walk away with that one for free. So far, so good. But quite a bit of damage heading over in the direction there of Hotstick. Now, Loco on the defensive, trying to just man that doorway. But unfortunately, that's not where he needs to focus, right? He needs to turn his attention onto Team Liquid. They are going to be trying relentlessly to push up. But Sudoka, beautiful off-angle play here.
It was a beautiful angle. Unfortunately, some missed shots means he doesn't actually get netted a kill. That could have changed everything if we see a player go down there and a full. Open things up for the rest of the lobby, but 5 minutes on the clock, 2 minutes on the decode means we go to minimum timer. If it gets stolen again, there's technically a chance that nobody gets this brick, but it's feeling very likely with full 3 teams of 3 and then that solo. I think somebody's going to get this brick. It's just a matter of who.
Well, the top 3 teams currently in the lobby are all looking to contest for it. And of course, we have FaZe in the mix as well. Okay. Just trying to move around the map. Maybe look to see if you can find a few sneaky, cheeky angles. Meanwhile, we do have a few, what sounds like bot shots coming through here from the side of EG. Let's see, is WKF maybe going to look to try and challenge this position. Whatever they decide to do, they're going to have to be really quick about it because, as you mentioned before, Goj, there is only so much time available on that decode. So if they want to try and steal the show, if they want to end this early, that is exactly what they got to do.
Nice.
And they can't get caught out by the Molotovs.
Yeah, Pecky with a great angle here, though. A ton of utility coming back the other direction, but I think Pecky may have needed a chow there. If he would have gotten one knock, Evil Genius could have been in a position where they could actually get wiped. But instead, they're able to find cover and throw all of their util at the door. And here comes Team Liquid finally striking. Articuno goes down. Team Liquid with a power position right now. And WKF feel that pressure coming on the backside of Muo, so they get really aggressive as well. 30 seconds on the clock. Yes, you can go for the steal, but you can also just go for the wipe, and that's exactly what happens with the help of Crab. Evil Genius is down. WKF is still alive. Team Liquid looking to capitalize on this, but WKF is the team that can close it out right here. Team Liquid, now that they've wiped Evil Geniuses, they've got to be a hero. It's 3v3v1, and there's still a team on the map that can win this competition and win this match.
It can still swing either which way. Let's see. Can Team WKF get their hands on it in time? I mean, Team Liquid definitely going to try and steal this one for themselves as they just have a minute or so left on that decode. So this one could be in the bag. Sudoka rather could be running into a world of trouble there as well. I mean, I like the position that FaZe has been trying to adopt here. Kind of trying to be that that shadow lurking out on the map. Is it going to pay off, though? That will be the big question.
WKF have got to make a play. It's going to be a ton of util spam. Lua Rocket get a read that Mendo's on ramp and everybody else is as well. So what does he do? He goes underneath the stairs. Smart play to try to change up the angles. Even just a half a second of an advantage of Peeker's advantage down to the low side, thinking he's a little bit further away. Mendo may get a kill here. 20 seconds on the clock. Mendo ults out, I believe. Gets really aggressive, trying to stick to the Dakota Teacher to find some kill. He goes down. Seabots finds one, but only 15 seconds. You either got to wipe the team or you got to get the steal. Hotstick goes down. WKF, they get the steal. There's only one remaining member of Team Liquid up, and they're trading blows. Team Liquid down to a solo, and FaZe a solo against the full team of 3 that can close it out right here, right now. Unbelievable job. And as we swap perspectives, we see that Team Liquid has been wiped. Hotstick is not alive. That is it. The only player that could force us to game 7 is Sudoka, who's been a solo for 80% of this lobby. What a turn of events. The tortoise beats the hare yet again on main. Patience pays off for WKF. My goodness.
I just want to bring something to the attention here. They have 49 points on the board now. Right now, the highest squad points that we've seen so far on a single day was 31 or 33. 33, right? That was brought in by Nightmare, right? Just in this play alone, they almost have as many squad points as a team at the top of the board.
It's crazy. We got to check this. Technically, Sudoka's got to make a play, but he's not going to. He's too scared to make the play through a full team of 3. Doesn't want to give away the kill, not knowing that WKF's about to win right here. I thought there was a chance he could just suicide go for the steal to just keep playing the game, but no. WKF go back-to-back double brick, and we end in 6, DK. What is happening? One of the weirdest matches I've seen thus far. WKF had 0 group stage points in their match that they played last week. They got last. They got 0. They didn't get a mana brick. Today, they are the only team to get a mana brick, and they pick up a perfect 10. My goodness, I was not expecting that.
Absolute insanity coming through from them. I'm sure Bendo is also still trying to figure out what the living goodness happened, right? Because this entire day was just such an interesting day to see what these players were bringing out onto the field. But I mean, again, right, I just want to emphasize the insanity that WKF had decided to bring in here today. You said it, right? The last time they walked away with not a single match point. Here today, they are again our best team on the board. 5 kills going their way, 1,300, almost 1,400 damage, and they get that double brick decode as well. So a big W going over to them with 5 kills to accompany that.
I can't emphasize how big of a win and how desperately WKF needed this win. For a team to have 0 points after the first week, you had to be extremely consistent or drop a pop-off match like they did today. They were undeniably the best team here. There was no question about it. Everybody shows up in slightly different form week after week, match after match, and there's a lot more matches to be had in the group stages, but this is a different WKF than we saw in the last rep. Big shout out to, of course, our top damage dealers here as well. Evil Genius had a solid rep, but really couldn't get anything going after a couple nice plays. They'd try to decode, and then they'd get swarmed by everybody on the map, getting third-partied and pincered from ramp and on the other side, shipping containers, and they just couldn't stay alive. WKF, they just turtled up, played inside, truly an iconic play from them. BTH found solid loot on that map, but ended up getting cut down early. I mean, truly a tortoise and a hare situation. They turtle up inside, played slow, and they just survived. You've got to be alive to win, and they did just that.
I mean, I think they did a little bit more than that, but of course, a big shout going over to Crab here, our MVP for this final round of today. 300 damage on the board, 2 kills as well as that assist, and unfortunately not a single bit of assist going their way. And you know what, it doesn't matter. Why? Because they got the double brick. That is the fastest way to win the day, and what a day it has been. I mean, WKF, they have just been working so exceptionally hard across all the bits that they could find here today. And I mean, the amount of squad points that they have on the board now, right?
It's
going to be absolutely insane. I mean, we saw them sitting with 51 before they wrapped it up. 51! To put that into perspective, some of our other beast teams that we had, right, got like 33 on a day. They got 51. Insane.
I know. Insane stuff. Well, folks, WKF might have won, but we still want to reward you today. You've been seeing it in the chat. It's in the pinned comment here in the Twitch channel, but it's time for our final giveaway. This is your chance to win 3,000 Delta tickets. You can see it right here. You can type exclamation giveaway in the chat if you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook. And if you're watching over on X, how you doing, folks? You can just repost the live stream. We'll announce the winners in chat on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. And if you're watching on X, we'll announce the winner in the comments comment under the live stream. So good luck to you out there. We want to see you rewarded with some Delta tickets by sticking with us until the end. So again, 3,000 Delta tickets. Just type in !giveaway on the main streams or repost that live stream on X, and we'll announce those winners. But back to the action at hand. We've got a lot of winners in chat, I'm sure, but the winners at hand, WKF, DK, you were hyping them up for good reason, man. I called them a tortoise in the last round because they did play really slow and patient. The rest of the rounds, they slaughtered everybody. You called it out. They have so many points. They have more points than plenty of these teams have in 2 matches, like you're mentioning. Like it's really gigantic in terms of the squad points calculation, and nobody else was really able to do much on the map because they were the ones finding most of the kills.
Yeah, I mean, to put that into perspective, we saw a team like Nightmare, right? They had 51 points after 2 days of play. 2 days. This was 1 day. Insane stuff. And I mean, we're only in week 2, day 4. We still have 7 more to go, right? It is going to be insane what these teams are going to be cooking up and what they are going to be bringing on here. So if you've not decided to subscribe to anything Delta Force, do it now. You see what these teams are doing? They're freaking crazy.
They're freaking crazy indeed, TK. I like that adjective because that's what it felt like today. This was one of the wilder matches I've watched. Again, seeing 2 maps go brickless. Nobody picks up a mana brick in rounds 2 and rounds 4. I thought, are we ever going to get a mana brick? And then everything changed with WKF. Continued to stay online, but really came online holding down the bricks. We've got an interview with one of the members of WKF. Let's bring him in. Let's hear his thoughts on the chaotic nature of this matchup. We got, okay, I'm so glad it's Crab. All right, I love your team, Crab, but you popped off today, man. You came out swinging. How does it feel to get that many kills and get the win? Nobody was close. How does that feel?
I feel like it's our work because after last week game, we figured out like we make a lot of mistakes. So we run a lot of scrims and we practice in pubs. We run like different strats, and that's what we get. Of course, I feel happy.
I mean, just looking at the overall pacing that you guys have been bringing in here today, right? We've been talking about the points consistently, but you've just been playing such a strong day. Was that kind of part of the training and the preparation that you brought into today, or did that just kind of happen?
I mean, like it's like 50-50 because we did prepare a lot of stuff, but we were contesting. We are still contesting team. We don't know because we have so many teams running wars today on Space City. That's not happening a lot in scrims, but we communicate and try to like make it out somehow.
Yeah, it worked out for you. Talk to me about what you all were thinking going into game 5 when 2 maps had already happened with mana bricks and still nobody had a mana brick. Were you surprised by that, or did it feel right with the way the maps were playing?
I feel like if you are running like high pressure lobby when everybody is playing well, playing their style, we cannot get brick like too easy. So we already calculated that, and we figure out if we keep the situation like this, we're gonna win by the kills and our assets. So we try to play slow, find the timing and the entry into the brick. So we didn't put a brick at the first place. We tried to play slow to play for the kills, and then when we wipe a lot of teams, so we can entry into the field, get the brick. It's easier to defend when there's like less team around you.
Yeah.
Well, insane and strong defense that you brought in. I mean, you even decided to come through with a double engineer in this final round that we just witnessed, right? Was that a strategic decision to play the double engineer on purpose, or was it just because like you didn't have any more of those Tempests left?
Well, it's like 50-50 as well, because we want to run Tempest every round, but like we are running out of Tempest, so instead of like engaging, we have we came up with a comp with a greater defense ability, or also comp with a D-Wolf, so we can engage as well. So our thoughts is we use Uluru to get the information and the setup field, use a Shepherd to ult and stun them, and let the D-Wolf come in to like engage back to the brick. But when we comes to the situation we are defending the brick, we have so many utility like D-Wolf nades, like Shepherd nades, and the Molly, so we can defend better. That's our thoughts.
I love the strategic breakdown. We were thinking a lot of the same. You had so much utility to be able to hold that brick. It let you play very defensive, and it worked out today. Crab, congratulations, man. This is a big feather in the cap. Obviously, this is the exact opposite thing that happened week 1 to week 2. The final question I have for you is, I'm going to just give you the floor. Is there anything you'd like to say to any fans? You can talk to the haters. You can talk about your team. The floor is yours. Anything you want to wrap up here on broadcast after a big win?
We can just keep up. Just keep up and win everything. Yeah, I have faith. Thank you, guys.
I love it. I love it, Crab. Thank you so much. Just keep it up and keep winning everything, man. Congratulations again, and I'm sure we'll see you very, very soon here with the Delta Force Rise series.
Hi.
Cheers. That was Crab. WKF. W key forever, man. They flew around the map, and well, DK, this is no surprise. The man that was just on our screen that we're talking to, extremely humble, extremely strategic, but also extremely aggressive. 17 kills by himself is ridiculous.
I mean, he's just slaying the lobby, right? You said this before, right? They stepped out. If they weren't focusing on Mantle Bricks, they were just absolutely playing the field. 12 million in assets being gained there as well, almost hitting 3,800. Absolute brutality coming through from WKF, but we love seeing that this is the kind of bounce back we want to see from the teams sitting at the bottom of the board, coming in and just looking to make statements. What a statement WKF made.
Yeah, they made a huge statement that if, hey, you enjoyed seeing us in last, now what are you saying now that we're in first? Really well done. 35 kills on the day. Evil Geniuses, I would even say, had a good rep. They had 21 kills, 26 total points is pretty solid. Team Liquid, decent rep as well, total of 24, but 48 total squad points at the end of the day, and double brick. It's huge for several reasons. They pick up their 10 points they desperately needed, but they also prevented any other team from getting those extra points from the Mana Brick. So Evil Geniuses pick up a couple points. Team Liquid pick up a few. FaZe Clan pick up a couple. Team Nadeshot, who won last week, DK, they only pick up a point, getting 5th place. Like, they get basically nothing to show for being near the bottom of the leaderboard. So a total flip of the script. WK Forever and Team Nadeshot are going to be about even on our group stage leaderboard.
Yeah, they are going to be about even on the leaderboard. But, you know, there's one team that I want to hype up here today, and I think they need a bit of a hype up, right? It's going to be BTH, right? We need to see them step it up. I just want to see BTH be the WK Forever team next, right? They need to just blow us away with whatever they can bring on through, because unfortunately, sitting with 5 squad points after round 6 here today is not going to mean all too much for them when it comes to the overall positioning, right? They're going to have to double down. They're going to have to go back and do some homework and come back strong. I want to see them just blow us away.
Yeah, I mean, certainly some VOD reviewing needs to happen, more scrims, more practice, but you're right. WK just showed us anything. It's that just because a team has won before doesn't mean they're going to win again or even have a good day. This is a long series. It's a total of 5 weeks, 4 weeks of group stages. Anything can happen and everything can be turned on its head. So don't get complacent and keep pushing. WK Forever really showcasing that mantra on main stage and hoping for BTH's sake that they'll be able to do it in the next. A good shout here from DK. But as we wrap up with our leaderboard today, again, the points really do speak for themselves. It was a one-sided match today. If you all watched EMEA earlier, it was fairly one-sided down there as well. So something's in the water in week 2, but we've got a lot more matches coming your way very soon, folks. Excited as we prepare for what is just, this is the end of day 1 as we prepare for day 2, day 3 this weekend, DK. I'm pumped to see some of our other teams that have been waiting in the wings, and I'll give them one more shot. I think Group A and Group C are really excited about these results. This is best case scenario on the group stage leaderboard. But talk to me about our player rankings down the board here, DK, in terms of the overall individual kill category.
Well, I mean, seeing Crab in 2nd place means that 17 of the 20 points
crazy
came in today, right? So if that says anything, it tells you that these players all have the opportunity to just go flying up boards and climb up to wherever they need to go. I mean, you can see Crab also sitting all the way up in that 6th place, but it is going to be pretty dang tough to contest Killzone with what he's been able to do so far on their respective matches, right? So as you can see, there is going to be still a pretty tall play at hand here. Mendo being very consistent here as well today, and managing to advance himself up into that third place. But overall here we have it, and of course WKF going all the way from the bottom of the right hand side over into first place on the left.
Yeah, this is a huge jump for WKF. And you still see Team Nadeshot there in second place. That's what a win gets you. And they still got that extra point or two. So they find 2 points there. That puts them up to 12. Honestly, it could have been a lot better, but it also could have technically been worse. If they had been sitting at 10 right now, they'd be feeling really bad about themselves. Being at 12 is still a decent position. Now, some of these teams, of course, now that we've played, some of these teams will need to play a lot more. But if you're down at the bottom of the leaderboard, time to turn on the WKF, whatever their hype up music they were listening to while they're preparing for this. Emulate that, DM them, ask them for it, because it worked. Folks, yes, we're done today, but we're not done this weekend. We got Saturday, we got Sunday, same time, same place. It's going to be groups A and D. So you're going to see Team Nadeshot. You're going to see all of our teams from Group D back at it again, trying to play in another match here tomorrow, Saturday. DK, final thoughts for the broadcast. It's been a lot of fun casting with you.
I just want to see teams stepping up tomorrow, right? There is going to be Group D stepping out again, as we saw, right? A versus D, great day, great opportunity, and I want to be blown away with the pressure and the heat these teams are going to be bringing in, and I'm looking forward to it, right? If you've not already done so, follow us on all the socials so you can join in on all the sweatiness that tomorrow's going to be bringing in.
Totally agree, DK. It's been an absolute pleasure casting with you folks. DK just shouted out. Drop a follow on all major socials. And if you haven't, check out Season Meltdown right now here with Delta Force. It's a great time to jump back on the game and check out the brand new season. Go download the game for free on every single platform you could possibly think of. We've got Delta Force on mobile, we've got Delta Force on console, and of course PC. But that's it for us on day 1 of week 2 here with the Delta Force Rise series. Tomorrow, groups A and D, Spacestation Gaming reappearing as the top team in the league thus far. Can they stay perfect? You've got to tune in to find out. The last reminder I had for you is that we couldn't do it without you, the viewer. See you tomorrow, same place, same time.
Members, now the odds are in their favor, 2v1. Everything getting spammed away, and MT getting a little... So hang on a second, NL! Look at that! It's an absolute sweat! And LG's got him, they're here, lines them up, even through the shot, you're a nuts!